told everybody to stand by.
Did you? I hit the start stream, so we'll see if it switches over here. Twitch.tv. Looks like we are three handsome gentlemen of four. We'll see if he comes in with the fresh cut blaze tonight, man. But we're back here at Twitch.tv / Conspiracy Horsemen as we come to life. Give it a couple seconds as the chat room fills up and the dirty turnbuckle gifts hit the airwaves at Twitter. We're going to have a good time tonight. Some fun stuff we've been talking about gets advanced this week. You know, from the mind, the thought that produced the speck of light, it was infinitely hot and so extremely bright with the center of the great shine, and there was enormous energy. It was expanding in great time, and with the fireball was all in space, special place, information encased in one of the infinite beginnings. The cosmic clock was ticking and allowed the space to float while it was spinning. All that you see around us, the sun, moon, and stars, millions of worlds that astound us, the universe inside hard to fathom when composed in a region small as a single atom. But we're going to expand the mind, infidels, from the inside to the outside with nuclear power, explosions, fusions, and fission tonight as we join the Space Force, the first commissioned officers, the Conspiracy Horsemen. YOLO! Take off, man. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Space Force, secret satellites, more energy weapons, and now the official coronation of General J. Raymond taking off Space Force. You guys ready to deploy here? We got to go sign up. Where can we go? Right down to the recruiting office?
Me and Chuck decided we want to be the two Union guys from Aliens who just fucking bitch about hours and do nothing up in space.
I think that's fine, man.
We'll red dwarf the ship. We'll mop up in that motherfucker.
It'd be good stuff, man. I mean, they're gonna. I think as a structural engineer alone, be like, if everything is sail size to make through, then you know you've designed it properly, and the average person is going to be able to get through tolerances and clearances. I think that'd be just a simple thing right there, man. If
I'm just thinking about how great it's going to feel on my back with no fucking gravity.
Oh, beautiful! I love to just see you floating through air with your hands behind your back. You know,
I'll be doing it all day.
Floating by.
I'm going to start Space Union. Me and Chuck will start the Space Union, and that's exactly what we will do daily. That's 8 hours a day.
See Shemp just chasing water through the air, big tongue out. Oh, wow. Dude, that'd be awesome.
Even though space is silent, you'll still hear him drinking.
Oh, man. And we drink from the well of the deep blue eyes of Big Stevie Cool tonight. Blue shirt, hair parted, pulled back. How's it going, man? We've been on the air a lot today from you and Jargo this morning, then the Impact Attack doing the run-in, and here we are back Wednesday night for all our faithful followers. Appreciate it, man, all the work you've been doing.
Oh, no problem. That was quite a surprise this morning for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were ready to go, and I'm like, dude, what are these chats doing up there? I'm like, this is a show they did before? No, they're live now. Okay, fuck it. Give them the airtime, man. No problem.
It's usually Tuesday mornings, but I had a conference call that's going to be a weekly thing on Tuesday mornings, so we switched it to Wednesday morning.
Okay.
We weren't quite sure because Jargo was in the middle of an ice storm in Iowa, so we didn't even know if that show was going to come off or not.
We'll talk business on the air here real quick. My cousin, who isn't really too much of a media guy, but he's a hell of a football psycho fanatic, Bills Mafia guy, and he played D1 for Hobart and, high school, varsity, the whole thing. He saw that today. He's like, dude, you're doing sports now, legit? I go, yeah, we're going to do XFL. You want in? So I'll ask you, Coach, if you want a backup player here, linebacker, defensive specialist, I think you'd like to join the fold, man.
I mean, he should be the host. He actually plays football. So, they're asking me to be the coach.
Yeah, well, for sure, man.
Boy.
Yeah, no, he's a huge wrestling
Foosball
mark
is
too.
The devil.
The devil.
So he knows all the wrestling side too, like everything else. But it's my cousin, man. He's a legit big boy badass, and he's put some people in the ground, and a lot of guys he played against are in the NFL right now. So I think his perspective on the game could really be awesome. And then as we go into next year at Hameen Media and do the whole NFL season, you were excited talking about Jargo might have some affiliate stuff for us, and we can get this shit going, man. I'm pumped for all that, dude.
Yeah, me too. Can we go up to the games at the Buffalo Stadium and teach them how to go through tables? without hitting their head.
Somebody was asking me about that earlier today on the Impact Attack, the guys where Joe Jan was, because Joe Jan actually is our sports guy too. So you might have, I'll put this out there for you guys. Can we do a Horseman roundtable? You know, because Joe Jan's our CBS affiliate there too, doing coverage of sports. So that's your team,
What
man.
am I going to do on that show? What am I doing after all that? Jargo worked for Sinclair Broadcasting. This guy's a football player. This guy covers the football. I just sit at home in between remapping buttons on a cabinet.
Dude,
and just
I think we could
football.
have I think McAfee will probably have the number 1 coverage show. I think we could have the number 2 right out of the gate. And if not better than them, because our guys they've been podcasting a while. They feel pretty comfortable, but that I think that's something we're gonna look forward to. So boom, I just put more responsibility. Surprise on air.
He's got that blood money dick behind him, McAfee.
Yeah, that's right. And you can, as Sal actually, next time we tag together, you're coming out in full gimmick, and you are going to be blood money dick from here on out.
Excellent.
We're going to get you a big 12-inch dildo floppy. We're going to dip it in some gimmick blood, and then that's just you're going to go out and throw $100 bills in the air, bro. You're blood money dick from now on.
Well, what was that clip somebody put up about the two fucking douchebags killing each other with the fucking giant dick?
Yeah.
Spikes on it.
Yeah, there's fucking guy. Whatever, man. But everybody's saying, "Oh, it's great. These guys are 2 great guys." Okay, great.
I don't know if that was Casanova Valentine or not, but shout out to the deathmatch guys. Who knows? But what else? Big news going down today, man. With you guys, anything?
Robots, man. Fucking robots. Check that shit out. They made the robots out of frog cells.
Yeah, frog. Explain it, because I didn't get to read the copy. Please break this down, man.
Basically, what it comes to. So, okay, I wound up robots. You think of robots and everybody's like, oh, mechanical machines. But now if you break it down to the words, machines is any kind of complex moving parts in something. These are not robots in the sense of, Rosie the robot or any kind of bullshit like that. These are made out of cells. They call them xenobots. And basically they are made out of frog cells. Give me a second. Let's pull this. Yeah. So the researchers from Vermont's and Tufts University described how they crafted the first living machines out of cells taken from the embryos of frogs. That's fucking amazing. That's
so
awesome.
Living machines, like what do they mean? The fact that they can control these cells to create energy or something, to do something? It's not like we have a metal machine that runs on embryonic cells. Like
that's the thing.
A machine is a complex system that moves together in coordination with each other.
Okay, so their exact description: these are novel living machines. They're neither a traditional robot nor a known species of animal. It's a new class of artifact, a living programmable organism. That's awesome.
So where does your mind go with that? With your H.P. Lovecraft or with your D&D?
Yeah.
Explain to me, sure, please.
That's just straight up Shoggoths. They created Shoggoths in order to clean these gigantic monsters. The Elder Things were using them to clean, and they were basically slaves. And then the Shoggoths rose up and fucking threw against the Elder Things and was like, fuck you, and just pretty much destroyed that whole ecosystem. Like there was, so eventually, it'll get there. But frogs, to make it out of frogs it's so appropriate. Like Sagathwa, the giant frog who dreams and just fucking takes everybody's soul. All this shit, all this Lovecraft stuff, it ties into all of this. And then all these little threads, when they said it, they got it from embryos of frogs. I was like, there we go. Here it is. It's happening.
Were they gay frogs though? Were the frogs gay? Or
we don't know. Well, we don't know. That's the thing. Because they
you don't know if it's going to be a gay machine when it comes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, let's talk practical purposes here. Explain, could there be something where out of these organic frog things that are programmable, it's a spray that you put down on your hardwood floors and it cleans itself, and then goes like, you know, like it has a certain pattern that it moves in, and it knows how to dissolve something, and then it breaks down or whatever
Well, immediately what comes to mind, like straight to my mind, is automatically now, if you can make a controllable living organism, okay, no metal, no parts, like there's nothing artificial in it.
Right.
Okay. You drop that in the water, you drop that in some sort of an air system, you drop that in some place where there are scanners, some place where there are, you know, detections.
Yeah.
And they see, you know, a living organism. They'll go, what the hell is that? Oh, it's rats. Oh, it's a, you know, it's a, they don't know. It's like
for some type of espionage type purposes. Okay.
There is no artificial pieces on this to detect.
Right. There's no, like a FLIR signal would make it look like some type of fish or something along those lines.
Yeah. And they could literally do whatever they want with it because they're basically forming it out of the embryo. So if they want to make it look like a frog, it could be easily done. Make it, you know, boom, now it's a frog, but it's a controlled frog. Not like, see, they even did a thing a while back with rats, and they took the rats and you saw the little fucking wires in their brain, and they had the little dome on top, and they could remote control them. So you were like, okay, that's weird. But you now are adding parts to it, so any kind of a system can pick up on that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they can go, oh, a rat, but then they go, oh, but there's metal on there. Oh, there's silicone on there. Oh, there's something on there. These are organic material
to be programmed without any implant, any chip. That's like that.
Yep.
Wow. And we say frog embryo, but can that be developed into other things? Is it a goo?
Well, again,
is it a...
why not use the chicken embryo? Why not use any of these other embryos? Like, I don't understand what the significance of a frog is aside from it being readily available.
And amphibious, and you know, being land and water, and you know,
like it's readily available. It's probably nobody's gonna bitch about it as far as morals, because they've killed frogs forever in high school. So you just, you know, I don't know what the reason. When I read the article, I didn't see anything why they used frogs. So.
Stevie, it's not easy being green.
Well, you can change the colors, I guess, with this. Do you think they're going to try to have some kind of military application of this?
I mean, that'd be the first thing, right? Wouldn't that be
amphibia? You're talking about amphibian. I mean, to be able to just kind of have a soldier that goes from land, underwater, back to land.
Yeah.
Why would they put all this resource into it? And also artificial intelligence along with that. How's AI? I mean, you're going to make it sentient.
100% frog DNA, but they're not frogs. They're not. So technically, to be fair, you can do whatever you want to them because they're not technically a species, and you're not being unethical.
How soon until a protest to make them a species that needs rights, just like the robot in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
You know, the one they're doing a cryptocurrency with, making it produce cryptocurrency and then charging it taxes. So
also, if you want to turn around and use some sort of the lizard DNA, you want to, you damage it, it grows back after a certain amount of time.
But here's the thing I'm thinking about too. Look, what have we've seen? Monkey, pig, stew jaw from China. We've seen them talking about, or bring back woolly mammoth. They already got it. And now they said with frog DNA, just like Jurassic Park, they've got T-Rexes growing already. I'm talking programmable T-Rex, or whatever it is, where they fit this frog programmable DNA in there. Already been done, if we know about it already, dude.
Wow. So just they assigned a task such as movement in one direction. Let the computer virtually assemble the simulated cells in different forms over and over until one performed that skill. And then the computer took it and just kept regenerating it.
Cloning that one? Wow, dude.
Yep, because they found the right fucking sequence. That's straight up, man. Like, I'm psyched. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. That is crazy. You were telling me before we started too, some hacker Hameen shit going on with you, man. Just so we're not really sure what's going on, but at the same time, just to be, hey, if anybody else has something similar to this happen to them, let us know. So go ahead and tell that if you want.
Yeah, I never would have thought about that. I wasn't going to talk about it. Like, this was so weird. So I got an email today on my phone to my email it was all in Chinese. It was garbage. Like, I don't, speak it or read it, just, jargon for me. And there was like pictures, but like when you're scrolling through it, there are pictures of like a beach and a bunch of cars, but it looked like internet commercial stuff, like, so I was like, all right. And then I sent Stevie, I didn't want to put it in the chat room because it was a little fucked, but I sent it to Ben. It was for lack of a better, exactly what it was. It was a picture of like a semi-decapitated person on a beach, laying on a blanket. Like, no, hang on. I'll send it to you during the show.
That's okay. You can just.
No, you got to see it.
He sent it to me. It's a lady with her head cut off, and she's got some weird book in her hand. Like, it looks like somebody hit her with the fucking Saudi Arabia welcome to Saudi treatment.
Yeah, but like she's on a beach blanket. Like, it looks really weird. So I was like, okay, let me go back to this. I tried, like, I went on my work computer, of course, and I went to try to reply to it, and it wouldn't reply. My phone froze up when I tried to access it. And then when I went through it, there was nothing there. Like, the email is gone. It's not even, I looked in my deleted. I looked all over my phone. It's gone. Now, I've had nothing else screwy happen to my phone today. Like, nothing's held up, but the email is completely gone. And that picture was the only weird murder picture in the grouping of like a really nice beach and like old, like, they look like, for lack of a better term, like European cars.
So let's talk, like, since you were talking about this, like, the two things that I can think of off the top of my head are, it's a Trojan horse that did something, pulled something, and left, or it was generated inside China, and that picture was in there for a purpose, and they are able to pull emails retroactively from everybody's shit based on how their gates are from Chinese internet. And
here's my guess.
Go ahead.
You're probably right. Trojan horse, worm, virus, whatever it is, some way to sniff out the device, the computer, the phone, the tablet. Mm-hmm. But it might need time. So it's like, we need to make sure that we put a picture in there that this motherfucker or somebody's going to look at for a good 15, 20 seconds. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, and that'll give us the time. Yeah. That'll give us the time to sniff passwords, financial stuff. Like I would change all your passwords, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You could do it very easily on the iPhone and just lock it down with 2-factor. And I would make sure you get text with your credit cards and your bank statements, because that's really what people do. They bank online. They have their credit cards online. That was a way to buy time for whatever was in there to do its job. Then it disappears. It self-deletes permanently off your phone.
And the whole shit was gone. That's why it was so
Hold
weird.
the picture up to the camera, Sal, or I can, I guess.
Everybody's phone's going to be corrupted.
Yeah, here, I'll hold it up. It's not for the faint of heart. All right, go ahead.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty gruesome.
It's like on a beach, like, and again, I looked over because I was trying to see maybe there was something in the back or the side, and it's like they're on a beach.
And she's holding like a book or a VHS or something, man. And like, so that, and then it, completely disappearing without Sal doing that. That's interesting to me. To me, if it was all these other pictures and that's the one of like something to stick out and then it's gone, with what we know about Chinese social media score program, or what we saw where the guy was on WhatsApp and just made a joke about the police. Remember that? And they had him in the fucking iron bathtub fucking thing. And sorry, uncle, I'll suck you off, uncle, whatever he was saying to him. Like something. Now imagine something like that going out. Sure, they could have the power to pull that of whatever it is. And whoever sent it, within 2 degrees of separation, their whole family's probably in a ditch someplace right now.
Wow. I was just like, wow, that's fucked up.
That's actually what happened is
made it worse.
That's actually the girl who sent a text message, and they sent that out just to know, like, that's the new WhatsApp update. You better watch what you're saying. Otherwise, you might end up like her.
Well, instead of sticking her hip out with her butt at an angle like the Instagram whores do, they got her head sticking
They
out.
just
Her
cut her
head.
head.
That's the new
twisted.
gimmick.
Yeah.
Right.
They tried to make her do duck lips, but
It's
wouldn't
called.
work.
It's called.
So,
It's
well,
called.
I don't think she has to worry about any kind of sunscreen.
Hashtag Pez head. She's got fucking the neck. Man.
Is she Blood Money Dick?
Yeah, she could be Blood Money Judy or whatever the fuck, Bloody Mary. Yeah, man. So interesting. If you guys get any weird Chinese emails, beware to start with. But if you do open them and they disappear, let us know.
Yeah.
Stevie, anything on your end, man? Crazy this week?
I hope everybody's having a good time tonight.
Well, I did have a good time, man. I was uplifted and calmed down after your Count Your Blessings video. You know, I think some of your best work, straight to the camera, 9 minutes of inspiration, very real and very no alternative motives attached to it aside from uplifting humanity, and it comes through, man. I think some of your best promo work.
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, there's little bits of Big Sal in there too, because it angers me 99% of the time when I see people out there being that way, and then this time I just felt really bad for them, and I'm trying to continue that trend where I just be like, man, that's a shame, man. Those people don't get it. Like when people are legitimately like 3 feet away, see, it chokes me up already, 3 feet away from a group of people that are just so happy to do something we take for granted every day.
Mm-hmm.
And this person's bitching because they can't get into Costco to spend money that they don't fucking have fast enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the big screen TV will still be there. This person is buying their coffee thing for the first time in their life. Let them enjoy it and show you how you can drive a car. These people are happy just to ride on a bus somewhere to go on a field trip.
Yeah, man. It's
I didn't know Sal used to work in that field. I mean, directly like that. Those people have to have not only a ton of patience, but also a ton of compassion.
Yes.
Because each person has their own unique needs and their own unique emotions attached to it too, that you have to kind of, be aware of.
Yeah, it's again, it turns into one of those things where you don't expect. I know this is going to come out sounding wrong, but when somebody with a disability, whether it's learning or emotional something, and they just have their own, they do have their own personality. And people kind of just blow it off. They assume if someone's slow or if someone has a disease or something, or an affliction, that they don't have the same feelings. They don't.
Yeah.
It's even worse, because their feelings is the thing they can express. When they can't figure out words to say things, their emotions are the first thing to come out. Sad, happy, angry, and you start. Unfortunately, a lot of them get shuffled off and filed under troubled because they don't know how to vocally say, I don't like this. I don't, and they're just diagnosed in the wrong way. And these things, treating them like normal people, and not that they're not, but they're all in different programs. They're put into programs because family can't take care of them. They just don't have the means, or there's so many different factors that when I was listening to your thing, and I just remembered all the guys that I wound up getting close to when I worked there, and it was just like we used to do those things. We'd go to the movies, we'd go to Walmart, and going to Walmart was huge deal for these dudes. They'd get them all in the van, and everybody they loved it. So it was a situation like you were saying, everything you're saying, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it made me think back of, I got to be with them. You got to be with them for such a short time, and it's still, you got it. Like it still struck you. And you have and you have that's the thing. In that short time, you not only were aware, which 99% of the people are not. You know, they didn't even think that far into it. Of like, oh, well, you know, this is this person's big day. This is this person's, you know, time out in the community. They didn't care. You actually, you know, like, so it just goes to show what kind of a person you are. And, you know, not to fucking put you over, but, you know, it just, people need to, that's why it angers me when people come at you with stupid shit and I want to kill them. Because they, you know, they come at you and you are the fucking one of the nicest people on this planet. I know this isn't the show to do this, but, you know, you are one of the nicest, genuine people. You know, just, there's not a bad thing to say about you. And when these fucking idiots come at you on social media or whatever else because they have nothing else to do but be negative, it drives me insane. And I want to Jay and Silent Bob them and find out their fucking emails and addresses, go to their house and beat the shit out of them. Because they can't even remotely pretend to achieve the level of fucking awareness that you're at right now as just being a great human being. So that's to you, man. You are a good person.
Well, I appreciate that. And the thing was, I felt like I was fortunate to see it. Like I could have got there 5 minutes later or 5 minutes sooner and they wouldn't have been outside and I might not have crossed paths in the aisle. It just showed like there was something about that. There's a lot of things about that, but I try to slow down. Like everybody's in such a rush. I think this is like, honestly, this is the fit for what we're talking about. And there's a lot of stuff that people just are made to put their heads down in their phones or put their heads down in their financial slavery 9-to-5 job, keep their head down, do their work, ignore, put the blinders on. And that carries over outside of the office, outside of home, outside of these things. And if you want to put a conspiratorial spin on it, did you ever look at any of the people that you worked with, Sal, and say, I wonder how many of those people was from an environmental thing, from, you know, something like a vaccine that had mercury in it or something, you know, something our parents might have done, or mom might have drank, or something that could have been prevented. You know what I mean?
Ready? No, I won't, you know, I'm not going to use name, but there was a guy who completely normal up until he was 29, 30 years old. And him and his brother got into a situation and his brother hit him with a wrench and nearly killed him. And, you know, dude was still there, but, you know, there was a disability now. He was left severely hampered, but great guy. Like, you know, he's funny as shit. He's a good dude. And he wound up becoming a volunteer fireman where he goes and he hangs out there at the firehouse and he helps them, you know, along. But it's one of those things where it's, you know, this guy would have been, who knows what this guy could have been.
Yeah.
But the situation happened and
but yeah,
look at this guy.
Yeah, and this guy happened. He ran in. Can you hear us, buddy?
Yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, we can hear you. Sure, man. Welcome.
Sound okay?
Yeah, I think so. Just speak loud. I'm not sure if you're coming through your mic or if you're coming through your computer or not.
Hold on.
Speaking about that too, just to finish off the thought on that, I always worry about us four and other people that were in wrestling or in any kind of contact sports like we were. And it can always happen. Like I said in the video, I mean, yeah, we try to fight it off as much as we can and try to think and try to stimulate our brain and our cognitive and motor abilities and everything. But man, you think about the odds of going out there every time and wrestling and what kind of cumulative effect, not even now, but 5, 10, 20 years from now, that we might feel. So, you know, it's stuff like that everybody, all the boys should be aware of, seeing a group of people like that as well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. There was a lot to take home from that. Go ahead, buddy. Mic check it if you want to. Oh, NFL.
Can you hear me now? Am I in through the mic? I know I'm popping. Can you hear me through the mic?
No. You actually sound lighter than you were. I'm not sure if you got to go in on any settings on Zoom or not, maybe, and just choose it.
What now?
No, you sound the same. Like on Zoom, check the software, just see if you can select the mic or not. If not,
go up to video settings, I think it is, or No, it's not video settings. It could be. Oh, there's an arrow next to mute that says select the microphone. When you click the arrow pointing up, it's like an upside down V. It's on the left hand corner on the bottom. You see it?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
There we go. I'm in.
That's it.
I'm in like Flynn.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Much clearer. Thank you, buddy. Good to see you. No, not a problem, man. Glad you could make it as always. Love to be riding out 4 strong anytime we can.
Came at the perfect time to squash Stevie's overspot.
I was actually going to come over on the top 2 because I don't know what happened, Stevie, but I try to log into the general neutral messaging system with conspiracyhorsemen@gmail.com with password and it goes to T4 show mail, and I see all of your subscribers like for YouTube and things like that.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm not sure on your new phone if like when you logged in you had that for some reason, but I don't see the general neutral messaging system anymore. I see your T4 show mail underneath the conspiracyhorsemen@gmail.com when I log in there.
Well, let me look at it right now.
See what happens.
Did you ever get me? Oh, go ahead, buddy.
Yep.
I was gonna say, you see what happens when you try to fix an arcade cabinet? You fuck up the email system.
Big whack-a-mole.
Starting off early from positivity to laying it down, hot fire, hot shooters. And
I was going to ask you, back when you were doing the T4, did you get any nerd rats sending you fucking titty pics on their computer?
And 8-bit graphics?
No, I wouldn't say. I got a lot of stay in your lane dumb wrestler emails. That was
even back in the day, like when you were
before we started the show. What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say, even back in the day when you were cool, when you were using the Batarang and shit.
Yeah. Oh, especially then. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Ugh.
No, I'm just kidding. Who the fuck do you think you are? Actually, it's the same thing. There you go. Let me.
Can I say something?
Yeah, man. Of course.
Sure.
Your show too.
I watched your video today, a little late, but I did watch it on counting your blessings, and all I can say, it was a great video, and thank you for sharing that moment with us. That was really cool.
Very good. That's what we were just closing up talking about when you came on, man. How impressed we were with it. So if you guys haven't gone over to Stevie Richards, follow him on YouTube. You're a damn fool because you're 51,000 people behind. And, subscriptions going up every day. And actually, I got a lot of good NFO comments on the Podbean, loving the show. People catching up even on back episodes because they're pretty much evergreen because it's such a high-level discussion for people who follow the books and, they know the whole world. It's not like if you missed an episode of something, you're going to learn about it and it's going to be spoiled for you. So everybody all around kicking. And then 2 horror podcasts or horror like review shows followed the Ben Hameen account and the Hameen Media Group from Horror Junkyard. So making waves in all of these, micro demographics where you guys are producing your pet projects, man. So just want to say thank you, and I'm glad everybody's kicking ass already in 2020, man.
Can I also thank Sal for that sexy ass facial hair?
I know. I was
really digging it, dude.
Yeah, looks
really
good.
Digging
Man.
it. Nice.
The Al Snow is real strong with you right there, brother.
Yeah. I let my shit grow out and started getting really itchy, and I got pissed. I really get really angry, and then this started out as a goof because my brother-in-law, he cut his, and he went and he did the full Hogan. So I'm like, all right, great. And then he didn't keep it, like a bitch.
I was thinking because I got to wrestle the day after I get back from Hamas, and I was gonna. Usually, I tell the ladies in Jamaica to get the fuck away from me, but I'm thinking about letting them do the beard up and all
Dreads.
dread it up or what have you, and
Cornrows.
come back and do the match like that. Do the match like that. So we'll see. Maybe it might be a one-off versus Joe Pimentel submission match with the sexy beard in Canada. So
maybe you could choke him with one of the braids.
Maybe, man, for sure. Dude, I was watching. I thought of you this weekend, man, because I did the Impact Attack this morning. I don't know if you got to see anything. I'm sure Tessa Blanchard went over on Sammy for the world title and everything. But in the opener, they built one of Sammy's guys from OVE, Madman Fulton. Big dude, got a good look, dreads like those Predator dreads and shit, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like big man, but still pretty new to the game. Been working Ohio and OVW a couple times, have been down there. Great look. He's in there with Shamrock, so you don't suck, right? So they're doing whatever, and I didn't even really see what it happens on. Dude, fucking shoulder comes out. It's way down. I just flash back to you versus Recon, and then, like, he goes again, and then it goes out even farther. And, dude, Shamrock just steps back, and him and the Shamrock and the ref are looking at him, and he goes, bro, your shoulder's broken. We got to end the match. And you can just see this kid wants it so bad because he's in there with a Shamrock. And you know, he's like, he pulls his strap down to it for a sling. He's like, I could go. And then they go and do like this half-assed finish. You know what I mean? Instead of like, the finish was Rings of Saturn on the shoulder to bring it back, dude. Let's get it on him, man. I was like, come on, B. Like, it's enough to just say Ken Shamrock tore your shoulder out. Fucking finish it right there, man, and come back on another day. But then they must have just popped it back in backstage because he comes out 2 days later and they're getting heat on Shamrock and he's doing overarm gloms on him, like coming down. I'm just waiting for him to hit him and watch his shoulder go down again. Same arm, dude, instead of like, you know, whatever you got to do to not do that. But I flashed back bad to your shit, man, when I was watching that. Ugh.
Yeah, well, shit happens.
I know.
It ain't ballet, unfortunately.
That's a Jerry Lynn spot.
Dude, out of 8 matches, out of 8 matches on that hard to kill card, 7 people got hurt out of 7 out of 8 matches.
Well, they were hard to kill. So they just got hurt.
So they had to try harder to kill.
Easy to hurt, hard to kill.
I logged into the Horseman email.
Cool.
Yeah,
I have it right here. So yeah.
Let me try.
Any Chinese emails?
Let me try and do it here.
No, not that I can see, but we did get like we got some emails we can actually go right to if you guys want to.
Sure,
Dude,
why not?
When I log in, I'm straight to
the first one is, hello customer. I would like to inquire about model sizes of brawler bumper you sell. Email me availability and let me know the types of payment you accept. Hope to hear from you ASAP. Vestal Harner. So Vestal Harner.
Forward me that.
Forward you that?
Forward me that email.
The hell's brawler bumpers? What the fuck is this?
I will make it up and I will find out.
Okay, cool.
All right, so
And then I will put all money that we got from him into our bits.
Nice.
Brawler bumpers. How dare he?
I'm gonna.
Cocksucker.
Your email's not coming up.
Well, 2 things. Number 1, I'm still your Alpha Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion after this Saturday.
Yes.
So that's one. Had a great match with this kid, Chris Banks. We tore down the house.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Chris Banks, man.
Yeah, it's $1 million look. Good. The kid's real good. He has a future if he keeps himself healthy.
Good.
Two, I have a good joke. Why did the Scarecrow receive an award? Because he was outstanding in his field.
Oh. That was awful.
You know it's a winner when Sal pops, dude. I'm sorry.
No.
That's funny. That makes sense.
I thought
And
it was
actually,
too.
the return of Ha 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 Mean, March 14th in Camden, so it'll be a good time there, man. Last guy I opened for there went on to get to the finals of America's Got Talent, so I'm looking forward to getting back out there again and ripping shit up. Stevie, is there other general neutral messages
Yes,
you want to read?
do. We have
All
it,
right.
but I'm forwarding this. It's much more important to forward this to Sal.
Okay.
Let me get this to you. All right, let's go here. We actually have go up here off. Well, it says off there, but I'll read it anyway.
Wait.
Guest suggestion. Tiffany Fitzhenry, Hollywood exposed pedos, child actors, abuse, handlers, and more. Tiffany Fitzhenry is the author of best-selling trilogy, The Oldest Soul. What? Is this my
Does Henry
voiceover
fit
voice?
Tiffany?
Tiffany Fitzhenry. I'll
Does Henry
forward
fit
this
Tiffany?
email to you too, Sal. Let me read this. I got to practice my voiceover. My new
You got
voiceover career. Hold on a second.
You better stay in your lane if you don't get this right.
Let me do my voiceover voice.
Yeah.
I got to practice. Pull my demo up.
Hi, I'm Ben Doer. I'm
Fitzhenry,
executive
author
producer of
best-selling
Hameen
trilogy,
Media Group.
The oldest. What the fuck I did? Is there an echo? Let me read these. Come on,
Wow.
man.
Stay in your lane and shut your mouth, kid.
Tiffany Fitzhenry is the author of the best-selling trilogy, The Oldest Soul, speaker and public personality. She is also a Hollywood whistleblower, prolific writer, and independent producer. Her soon-to-be-released documentary, Living the Dream. Oh my God, that's a bad.
Oof, that's
title.
rugged. That's rugged.
Yeah. That's Tommy Dreamer's line, living the dream.
Yeah, man.
Living the dream.
Details her, maybe she knows Tommy, details her experience as a screenwriter who shot to prominence with multiple award-winning TV and feature projects, garnering the attention of the biggest producers and networks in Hollywood. I haven't heard of this person.
Name one thing you've been in.
No, don't say that to Ben. It'll trigger him. The film reveals the raw and unfiltered truth behind scandalous Hollywood headlines, reminds humanity of the critical importance of storytelling, and asks the question, why does Hollywood even exist? So we can reach out to that person.
Well, I mean, even the words Hollywood is interesting to start there. If you talk about the mythic and wizardry, right, Sal, when you're talking wands, magic wands in even Harry Potter were made out of Hollywood. So you're enchanting, putting a spell on someone, creating something that is, not real. And then
Hollywood magic, that is a constant turn of phrase.
Right. And the
magic of Hollywood.
The silver screen has go ahead.
Well, that used to be, they used to make the film out of silver nitrate.
Right.
So that, again, that whole other thing too, technically that would be why a vampire does not show up on film, because of the silver nitrate. However, the minute that's stopped, you can record a vampire no problem anyway.
That's
so
fine.
It doesn't make any sense now. So it's all bullshit.
Oh, man, I want to suck your blood money dick. What do you think?
Whoa. Time out. Rocky Johnson died.
Yeah. The Rock's father, R.I.P., man.
Somebody just said, Monroeville Mauler just said, rip Rocky Johnson. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of been out the last 2 or 3 hours, I guess. But I just saw him on a documentary piece, too. And I know that's kind of tough because The Rock just signed the deal where he's getting his own, like, his childhood Wonder Years series of his life story. So that kind of sucks that his dad won't be there to enjoy part of that with him. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. And so ironically, that's Rocky Johnson was the first autograph I ever was given in a church in Brooklyn. My dad took me to go see wrestling, and Rocky Johnson actually was the first guy he signed a program for me.
Oh, something's going on eBay tonight.
I don't have it anymore. It's long gone. So SJDUB gimmick. Isn't Tiffany Fitzhenry the woman who Roseanne was putting over on Joe Rogan's podcast?
Could be. Absolutely. And, we're in that 1 degree of separation. So we'll look into her. That resume, obviously everything online is easily broken down and scoffed at, but we'll give it our best shot for sure, man.
Dude, by the way, speaking of Hollywood and the pedos, Kevin Spacey, they had talked about him on Joe Rogan. It had Brian Callen and Eddie Bravo. And Brian Callen comes off like, that's just Clint. The whole promo is pretty much so much.
Yeah, because Brian Callen's got a show right now. That's why.
He's funny as shit, too.
Brian Callen's he's locked down in making Hollywood money. He for the first time in his life. That's why he's like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so bad. Even Rogan's trying to play the devil's advocate. Like, dude, he was saying, like, how could the guy, bro, Brendan Schaub was on there saying, like, dude, the dude committed suicide, like, right after this video.
Yeah.
He's like, no, he didn't. There's no way. Dude, he did. He pulled it up. Callen's like, nah. Like, just really just being dismissive of the whole thing. Yeah, no, there's no other excuse except you're getting paid, man. You don't want your money, your gravy train to stop. But that Kevin, Papadon, you weren't on the show when that Kevin Spacey thing dropped, right?
I don't know.
Talk about that.
I did see it, though. It was definitely eerie. The fact that it came out exactly when this guy died, and he emphasized certain words intentionally as Frank Underwood in that promo. You know what I'm saying? Not even doing it as Kevin Spacey, but doing it as a dirty politician who was a shyster. You know what I mean? Maybe he's just doing to troll everybody, or maybe he's guilty. Whatever. It is what it is. It's a damn shame because he's a great actor, but he's a piece of shit as a person.
Second accuser death.
Yeah, man. Well,
Dude, that
shit happens.
ominous music and that kind of like some suspenseful thing, and then going into the fire with the even more creepy music of like, it's threatening. It feels very threatening.
Right.
Both videos
The
do.
scene was built. The scene was built, and it was set up to do so.
Why is he?
It wasn't like,
why are
"Oh,
they
that
so
worked out weird."
delusional? Why are they so delusional that he would continue with the Frank Underwood character after being thrown off, and then people are dying around him, which further ingrains you to believe that he wants to try and be this, psycho Kaiser Soze, Frank Underwood combo actor, closet molester. Like it all lends to it.
2 reasons.
Go ahead.
Ready? 1, because we're talking about it right now. So it's keeping him relevant and in everyone's mouth, as much as he'd like to be in everyone's mouth. 2, second reason, what's the best way to keep a secret? Hide it in plain sight.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
Also, why does Bin Hameen exist when it's such a horrible, horrible event?
Yeah. To remind you, so until it's always solved.
And that's the thing. He's there.
Yeah, for
I
the
could do whatever I
PTSD.
want. I'm Kevin fucking Spacey.
That's true.
I'm bulletproof. So you know what? Let me do Frank Underwood. Who gives? What are they going to do? Fucking fire me?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Sue me? What are they going to do? Press charges? Like,
Go to
he didn't
lunch.
he doesn't care.
Go
Yeah,
to
he
lunch.
doesn't give a fuck.
Will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Go to
Dude.
lunch. Sorry.
That Bobby De Niro shit. That dude. That is my dad. He's like that's the way my father would talk. Just gets on his jag,
Yeah.
and that's it.
No,
And you can't shut it down.
I love Glenn Ross. That's one of my favorites of all time, man. Super solid. I just watched it the other day. Probably the greatest acting on film, I think, ever. Stevie.
It's all getting to the point too where these things really happen and they've turned into memes and jokes. I don't know what the indoctrination of people now who are like making jokes about Epstein not killing himself, making jokes about people committing suicide after Kevin Spacey puts this video out. Like that's a joke to people. Like what has changed people? Is that a defense mechanism to kind of be like, well, what can you do? Don't try to rat out Kevin Spacey. If he rapes you, you'll die. I mean,
No, you know what it is? People become desensitized to the matter because it's been brought into the limelight through parody, through whatever other means necessary, to the point where people are like, guess what? I saw a 450. Guess what? I saw 2 dogs fucking. Guess what? I saw Kevin Spacey committed murder.
He can get away.
You know what I mean? Like,
Usually, I mean, let's be real. Usual Suspects was that good that he should be able to drop a body or 2. You know what I mean?
No,
like that.
no.
What? Come on.
well, listen, dude, look at the degree of separation, though, right? You think it's coincidence that he got bagged for doing what he's doing, and the director of that movie, who did X-Men, what's his name?
Brian Singer.
Singer also was involved in situations like that, and he was in that Untold Secret documentary.
And right now we're with the Weinsteiner recliner. You know what's going to happen with him, bro. So we'll see which way all this shakes out. As Hollywood and this young lady, I'm sure she would have plenty to add and clue us in on the Stooge Report, because it sounds like she got close to the stars. Maybe it didn't work out, or maybe they asked her to be compromised, and then she turned whistleblower. And
Who's whistle?
Yeah, well, hopefully the Conspiracy Horsemen, because we love getting that Stooge Report first, man. Stevie, go ahead, man. Take it.
What do you want me to take? You want me to follow up on the Kevin Spacey stuff?
Either that or gender neutral.
General,
yeah.
No, there's nothing, man. It's been
really?
real light. And so a lot of it is a lot of subscriptions to YouTube. We got another comment because Russian Vids had sent people to us after the episode.
Yeah.
I know it's coming up. I'll let you have your 5 minutes. But another strange comment. This is the first video you guys put up in 2 years? Dude, we've only been around for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, only
like
since
they're shadow banning the fuck out of us.
Dude, you look at my YouTube channel, my shitty DCW vids, some have 700-800 views from years ago. Like some of our stuff can't even get above 80, 90, 130, and then people tagging are like, how am I not seeing this show? I don't get any, I don't get anything to catch up on. So I'm just like, what the frig? You know what? I am relogged back into to that.
Conspiracy Horsemen.
Yeah, good. So, Jerome Hall catching up on back episodes. Appreciate that, but a lot of YouTube subscriptions. But yeah,
You
heat's
see the
on
time
you guys.
travel thing where it looks like you from the future? I sent that to Sal as well.
No, I didn't see that. What one's that one? Vestal or C4?
C4, I think.
C4. Let me see. C4 to your door. No beef, no more. Feel the rough, dangerous. The more weed smoke I puff. No, that was what's her name? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Is that the model sizes? Y'all, GGP, you want to go all in? I tried to defuse the situation. I thought you handled yourself.
There's no situation.
I know.
Listen,
I know.
here's the deal.
I know.
Here's the deal. I re-listened to my words. On that episode just to make sure maybe I didn't go a little too deep or off the beaten path and said something I shouldn't have said. I was giving you guys shit because he brought up a wrestling analogy to prove his point, because I did way back when with Piper's Pit and WrestleMania 3, and you guys kept chastising me about it. But I personally felt that analogy of the Twin Towers promo was just coincidence. And there's nothing to do with the freaking 9/11 things, because let's face it, and you said it best. Okay, one sleeve out of the side, out of the slideshow. I didn't say he was wrong, and I didn't say he wasn't awake. All I said was I don't agree with them with that scenario. And then on top of that, Big Sal goes, and not to throw Sal under the bus, because Sal's a man, and Sal said, well, that's the best thing he said because compared to the other shit he said. And you know what? That's a matter of opinion. Okay, we weren't being disrespectful, but for him to come on social media and try to belittle me when he was a guest on our show, unfortunately, I couldn't be on that show because I had family matters to take care of. But for him to go on social media and start whining and start to belittle me and start to put me down, saying I'm a little truther and I'm not as researched as he is, and this and that, to try to make himself look good and get the rub off of us. Look, man, if you want to go on social media and act like a little fucking teenage girl, go ahead. You just proved my point. All I'm saying is that we disagree. I didn't say anything bad about you. All I said is that your analogy was the drizzling shits, and I didn't agree with it. That's it. I didn't say you were the drizzling shits. I didn't say you were an asshole. I didn't say anything bad about you. I didn't say you're a baby truther because you believe in flat earth. Look, man, you're entitled to your opinion. Who am I to say you're wrong? I'm entitled to mine. That's the great thing about what we do, is being open-minded. You might say something in the future that may change my mind. You might bring evidence to the table that might just change my perspective on anything. But until that time, I believe in what I believe in. You believe in what you believe in. And to be fair, if you were a fucking man, you would have hit me up behind the scenes and say, hey, brother, what's the deal? What's the beef? Why do we have this scenario? Instead of going online and try to get over at our expense. Because guess what, Sunshine? You don't fucking piss in the wind. You don't fucking disrespect the Horsemen. And you don't try to get the rub off of us when we're trying to get everybody on the same page to show the world that, guess what? People are asleep. So if you want to come on here, guns are blazing, you want to go 15 rounds with GGP? Let's go. I'll bury you, you fucking cockroach. No fucking problem. And that's it.
And that's the funny thing is, when we were on the show, and he there was some shit he would go on, and I just was sitting there listening, and he said, he goes, he saw me and he knew I didn't agree with him, but we were all under the same opinion that we have opinions.
Exactly.
That's all. And like, it was cool. We were all good.
I had no problems with this guy.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's people who are different in different spots in their journey, and he has to deal with a lot. Yeah, high spots, whatever.
What's the high spot? Grab a hold.
Right. In what he's got to defend in his corner of the conspiracy world,
There's
a lot more.
defend,
well,
not against us.
Flat Earth. I'm saying not against us, but in going in Flat Earth, which is a big part of his corner of the conspiracy world, he's taking on Jim Cornette and Russo levels of shit every day. And hold on, and his is just a response that's out of that. And I'm not saying he can't take the lesson. We're all on the same side of the fence. We're just a little more centrist. And like you said, trying to get everybody to row the boat in the same direction, whether if you're far out from where we are and we're listening to you. That's fine. And that might just be his immaturity of a knee-jerk reaction of what he has to deal with that came one way. And that's just the level. His level 7 might be our level 3. You know what I mean? Like
what it portrayed.
I'm not saying it was right. Yeah.
No, it was never. It definitely wasn't right. But what it portrayed was the typical mentality of these SJWs in the extreme left or the extreme right, where if you don't agree with their opinion, they'll chastise you and try to verbally bully you and call you names and try to belittle you. So this way their opinion can shine even brighter, whether it's right or wrong. Now, look, if he thinks the earth is flat, good for him. I don't think the earth is flat, but I do agree with certain things he says. I do agree with certain things he doesn't. I mean, I don't agree with certain things he does say. So that's it. That's the end of the story.
Well, I already won that argument today. Did you see what were you in that tweet when I buried him for you?
Sal and I weren't. That's the thing, though. The Twitter is Twitter's such a. I don't understand. We just talked about the people being desensitized to Kevin Spacey, the Epstein stuff. What is the trigger that makes everybody want to have to? If you have something to say to somebody, like I watch wrestlers supporting other wrestlers, like the Corey Graves thing, which you guys probably saw, been in Poppin' On. And Rusev is tweeting him. Don't you have his number? Can't you call him? Are you sitting next to him on the plane?
That wasn't Rusev. That was Miro. That was his best friend, Miro.
Huh?
Because Rusev doesn't go by Rusev on Twitter. That's his shoot name.
I've been off Twitter for 30 weeks now, Sal.
All I did, I saw this and retweeted. I said, this is Russian vid pretty much loses every argument going forward after this. There's no.
What does it say?
Oh yeah, yes, I saw that.
Like there is no flat Earth argument after that, right? Like, so he popped for it, but then he came back actually at me with a valid argument that there is, out there, flat Earth, flat abs, flat ass, flat titties, So that, I mean, whatever. I mean, all I want is you guys to have a nice grinder date. You can go out, punch each other in the face, go get some Thai food, and
vegetarian. No, got to be vegetarian.
Vegetarian Thai. I think that's fine. Extra bean sprouts, and after that, we can go to.
At the end of the day, look, he comes on the show. He don't show his face. He don't use his real name. Okay, he's not forthcoming, right? So he hides. Right, so whatever. That's his. I mean, if because his job depends on it, whatever. That's fine. I'm not knocking him for that. I understand.
Sounds like
no. But what I'm saying is, he's hiding. He hides when he comes on the show, and now he's hiding behind Twitter and saying, "Hey, brother, man, what's the issue? Why did you say what you said?"
Right.
And I could have told him, "Hey, I'm sorry. I would apologize if he felt offended. I'm man enough to say, hey, I wasn't trying to come at you, bro." But he decided to take it to the next level. Try to freaking get over on us, especially me, saying I'm the same level as Disco. Come on, man. Really?
No, I get it. I get it. I
come on,
dude.
Stevie,
if you think you were hot, imagine you're me and how I'm just like, here it fucking comes, boys. And that's why I was so proud of you. I was so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Such self-restraint. Such self-restraint.
So to move off of this, because it's not gonna solve anything.
Let me just say one thing.
Sure.
Russian Vids is actually a lot calmer than he used to be. He's toned down with some coaching. That was the most.
Oh shit!
Like he's been way more open. And he actually said when he started to go off on some tangents, "Hey, I'm speaking really fastly. Back up a second." His presentation has gotten a lot better with that. I think deep down what happens is, and by mentioning Disco too, he's trying to start. I know. He's just
can't work a worker, brother. I know.
Well, I don't know if he's trying to, or if he's legitimately like coming at people and he's angry about it. I don't know if he's working or if he's just trying to do a wrestling kind of angle. And
some people get excited about wrestling angles too. That's the other part of it, right? Like some people get, we've been in this situation before.
Well, that's why I asked. I said, is this just a work? Like, is he just playing wrestler or is he hot?
Well, there's nothing to be hot about. Just because I didn't agree with it.
Just because there's nothing to be hot about. Doesn't mean somebody's not going to get hot.
You really want to go? I didn't even hit it with you. He went at you today, Sal, too, and wanted me to send you some video about fluoride. About Sal doesn't believe about fluoridation, so I didn't send it to you. So, but you know,
well, it's good to know he's listening to our show. That's for sure.
I'm the only one who's over with Russian vids. It's Russian vids and Saudi vids. New show coming out next week. You guys together, tag teaming together.
You got his number. Call him.
We're taking
him right now. I don't care.
So, Stevie, here's the question. You had asked, why don't people just support one another, or whatever the case was. So this is a personal thing that happened today, ironically. Someone came on their Facebook, not even their Twitter or bullshit, and they said, on my personal Facebook, I do not want politics. If you come and post politics on my shit, I will put you in a snooze for 30 days. Okay? They did not want it, and they asked not to. Somebody came on immediately after that and said, don't you think that attitude is a bit self-absorbed? And then came at this guy with, well, I live in Texas, and there are a lot of trans people being beaten up and murdered because people don't want to hear about things anymore. So your white privilege exactly now. Mm-hmm. So because somebody chooses not to hear negativity and asks, please don't post your politics because nothing gets solved. Please don't post it on my thing. And then somebody has to come and fucking challenge that because we all have to be the fucking world police. And even though, we're just going to argue and not actually come to any sort of understanding or come to a higher level of agreement, we just want to argue. So you should let me post politics on your fucking page, on your personal page, because I feel that it's white privilege and you just get to hand wave things away if you don't want to hear about bad things on your page.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that. That person could have just as easily, when I see things on Facebook, unfollow, snooze for 30 days. I don't put out an edict to basically say, poke the bear and say,
well, no, the fact is this was a friend of his, and he was like, well, why did I get banned? Why'd you kick me out? And that whole thing. And he said, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Do not do it. And he gave everyone fair warning. And the guy is a public figure, and he said, if you do this here, these are the consequences. And that's how it was put out. And then, of course, immediately some fucking super SJW had to come tell him, well, you're white privilege because
there's
you're
no such thing as white privilege. Sorry,
dude. It's
I know. It's not.
It's their badge.
Jared said a story that somewhere on YouTube. I got to find it, where they didn't know who the person was, and they kept saying, "You're using your white privilege," and the guy was black, and they still stuck to it. They doubled down, Ben. They didn't even say, "Hey, my bad. I'm sorry." They just said, "You're still using your white privilege." You go, "I'm black. How can you say that?"
Well, that's actually
one of the last Twitter fights that I got into, and somebody called me a racist. And how dare I go at this guy who I had no idea who he was? And they said, "How do you know race more than he does? This guy has been prejudiced against this whole time." And I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "He's black and gay." And I'm like, "I didn't even know. I had no idea."
I can't believe you guys.
Gay, and neither of them mattered.
I can't believe you guys are actually stooging off these big, huge future AEW storylines as Chris Benoit's kid debuts as not the white Pegasus, but white privilege underneath the mask. It's going to be a whole redo.
Those empty seats.
He's wrestling now?
Supposedly, he's left the lucrative oil industry in Canada to come be a wrestler. It seems like he's got a lot of body left to build.
Can I leave wrestling to join the lucrative oil industry?
I guess you could.
Is there any way I could sit down with the oil, the dirt sheet oil writers or something? And,
Sal,
you'll have to.
I love digging holes.
You'll have to join the lucrative olive oil company.
Oh, I'd pop the little Realm Network. Little Realm Network sneak peek. I popped in more than I ever have probably since we started podcasting.
Yeah, it was good.
We were going over different stuff about Lashley's gimmick, and I said on his Titantron it should be like an oil drill going into the ground, shooting up the black oil.
Just show the Frank Drebin All the fucking gimmicks.
Yeah, exactly. All the Frank Drebin gimmicks. That's what I thought of too. I was laughing my ass off, dude. It popped me huge. Sal,
and it was shoot part of Val Venus's Titantron video anyway, so they can copy and
the
paste
hot dogs and the whole bit. Yeah.
Were you leading me there, Sal, or no?
Of course I was, man. Come on.
Were you?
Help you out.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to talk about it or not. Like, I half put it behind me, but if there's anybody to talk about, it's with you guys, and unfortunately to talk about it on the air. And I feel like it's something that has been keeping me awake amongst the 50 other things on my fucking mind. And if I don't talk about it, I don't know if I'll be able to put it to bed, man. So that the shit with Lair had me fucked up, man. Like, when you're talking about a response that way from a guy setting things up. And now I don't even want to watch or like any of his stuff. I watch it, but I'm not even going to retweet it, where I was his biggest advocate, man. So if you guys don't know, I'll give you a quick backstory, because it's Hameen Media Group, and that's what you're here for. You support me, so you fucking get the real, especially here on the Conspiracy Horsemen with the guys I trust the fucking most. Mike Lehrer was on Ha 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 Mean. He's the ALS comic. You've seen him blowing up. Tony Hinchcliffe put him over on Rogan. He did 4 spots on Kill Tony. He's now a regular as of this Monday. I'm super happy for him. Pauly Shore is on. Somebody on my YouTube on the Ha 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 Mean episode, this is when he's in Buffalo just doing open mics, and his quality of life isn't nearly what it could be, says, at the 51:30 mark, I totally agree with you, Hameen. His talent's way too big to be kept. So I go and I said, what did I even say? Because I say a lot of dumb shit every week, right? I pretty much lay out the fact, I go, our friends in improv and comedy who've gotten to that spot, dude, they should be giving you a shot out there. Your affliction of ALS isn't, it's terrible, but you in a 2 to 3 minute shot can get more done than any stand-up in a 20-minute segment. So pretty much laying out exactly what he's done on Kill Tony. So I half-ribbed and retweeted it saying, did I predict, Steve Marsh in 69's career to take off? He retweets that, no, not at all. And then he retweets it again with a big, fuck you, don't tag me in anything, fuck your podcasts. And
all you said, dude, I remember I read this a lot. Yeah. I read this over and over.
It fucked me
you
up,
were like,
dude.
Hameen speaks.
Happen. I speak. I say things that happen, like pebble in the pond. That's all I said.
Yeah, Hameen speaks. Things happen, and then this fucking shaky jerk off writes back with a tweet. He says, "Don't do that." Kind of that was the, and you're like, "Don't do that." And then he's like, "Don't tag me." And then he went all in and was like, "Don't tag me. Don't speak about me. Don't." Go fuck yourself, you ingrateful cunt.
Yeah, and now MMA guys who are
that was just
And now he puts out a promo today for this dude who's on UFC, who's boys with Rogan, and he's a UFC fan. But where was that guy for the fucking first 10 years when we were all doing something? Yeah. And where was that guy when Mike was in Buffalo doing open mics? And I just wanted to give him a shine. And what's got me fucked up is whether it's my very close wrestling associate as well that you know about, or another Chicago comedy person, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing where I'm trying to help people who I would love to have on my platform and give a shine to? That what the fuck is wrong with me that they resent me so much that people who are like my brothers will now cut me off? Not that Lara and I were that close, but I'm trying
you gave enough of a fucking rub, dude. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if you just met him. You put him over big.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah, that and now he's up there with Pauly Shore and those guys. So at the end of the day,
give fucking Rogan a shaky hand job. Fuck him.
You can't go at a guy with ALS whose time is ticking. That's not a good look. But dude, that not a lot of things get to me, but that fucking shook me, bro. Like that, because that was the third one on top of these other two, and I just don't know show or whatever the fuck is going on in the hood, man. Because
you don't have to mention it, but. What other two?
What
I didn't.
Whoa!
I'll say it. Fucking man, I don't care because I've had. If we're gonna open up,
No, don't bury yourself, dude. I'm
not
saying.
burying myself with anybody, man.
Vince Russo, it's okay. Go
yeah,
ahead.
Touche.
Like me and Ali don't talk from Insurgency. I mean, he went to Australia, married a beautiful wife. He's working indies there. But dude, it's radio silence for 2 years, and I'll like almost everything. None of that comes back. My other brother, who I've got tattooed on my back from college years, who's in Chicago now, who's kind of bitter, but that's what I love about him, from Queens. Kevin, like, dude, like 25 years I've known the dude.
Oh yeah, 25. I remember that. You told me about
and
that, yeah.
Not word. I like respond to everything, kill him with kindness, everything. Not word one. So I don't get it, man. Whether it's the Trump politics shit, Chicago, like never would I sell out any of you guys over some dumb shit for people who have no bearing on my life and politics to toe a hard line for some art form. And like people who are way more over than Lehrer, who, like, you know, who put me over from the improv circles to take heat from this guy. I just sent him a backhanded apology. Sorry, I didn't know we had heat, brother. Won't happen again. Best of luck to you. And on my way I go, dude. Like that was just a punch in the fucking mouth, man.
Really. And when you told me this, when I was reading it, I was going, and I went back and I looked at the shit, and I was like, what the fuck is this idiot's problem? And again, you don't know what's going on in these fucking people's heads. You know, and this is in no way, shape, or form an excuse or any sort of a fucking, backdoor escape on this. I don't care what this guy has going on. He knows right from wrong. This guy knows who's been good to him. Mm-hmm. And if that's, you know what, you're going to be in the business, now you're going to fucking make sure you tug the nuts of all these guys around you because they're big celebrities. You know, Pauly Shore. You want to goof on Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore is evergreen. That guy is always around. And he will always be around because he knows how to do business. And I guarantee that doesn't come by fucking shitting on those people.
Yeah, was Pauly Shore at Improv Olympic 2000 to 2006 every night like we were together?
But that's what I'm saying.
And that's
what I mean.
Like, so to sell me out for that, for the weasel, buddy, fuck that noise,
but
bro.
I'm saying these guys know how to do business. They didn't do that shit. They didn't cut people out. You know, like... And that's the thing. It's not like you're a fucking hanger-on.
If Andy Dick showed up, I'd fucking choke him out in front of you guys just for fucking laughs. You know what I mean?
Listen, let me explain something. Ben, let me explain something, man. At the end of the day, it's his loss. And I'm not just saying that because I'm your friend.
Yeah, man.
But honestly, you don't want guys like that in your fucking life because you're going to think he's an ace and he's going to end up stabbing you in the back when you least expect it. So better off,
know me, rising.
Wash your hands, and that's it. Boom.
Hold on.
I just to chop wood, carry water.
Hold on one second.
Go ahead, man.
Dog welder. I remember when this show enlightened me. Tonight's a cry fest. Go fuck yourself. You don't like it? Turn us off. Get the fuck out of the room. Nobody needs you here, you fucking dick. You don't like it? You want to go get enlightened? Stick your fucking cock in a socket. We're here to talk. We're here to speak. Yeah, go fuck yourself. We're here to hang out with each other, and we're here to talk with, and you guys get to be here. We're just having to talk on what's happened through our fucking day. Go fuck yourself. All right.
Last time I checked, it's a 3-hour fucking show usually. So, what do you want us to do? We can't talk to each other between.
No, we have to enlighten him. We got to enlighten him so he can go tomorrow and tell everybody in his fucking Soggy Cracker Club, hey guys, guess what I learned?
We tried. We tried to give them time, but nobody wrote into Conspiracy Horsemen at gmail.com.
Dog welder. Go fuck yourself. How about that?
I want to add on. Fuck
yourself.
Go ahead.
Stevie, you do it. Oh, now you say it, Stevie.
See, he can't do it.
Say it.
Count your blessings in another chat room.
To thine own self be fucked.
How's that? No, I was going to say about the comedian guy because I've already forgotten his name. So that should tell you something.
Well, man.
Somebody with that condition should have better perspective and should know that time is really limited. We all have limited time. But this guy knows for a fact it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So to do something like that with you, to have that short-sighted thing, and I've seen it happen, and it's happened to me. I've seen guys come and go and come back down, obviously, in every form of entertainment, wrestling or sport or comedians. The thing is that he may not have been triggered or groomed in order to react to you that way, but subconsciously he feels like he has to put all this energy into being nice to them. They're putting him over. It's a false positive. It's a fucking country club ass-kissing thing. So now anybody else that might have a chance to hold him accountable is going to go fuck off. And that could be you. Or it could be the fact that, dude, I don't know why people buy into the fact that this whole thing of any type of fame, any type of income off of fame is such a fleeting thing. And I mean, he's going to be dead before you know it anyway.
Right. That's why I'm not trying to be like,
dude,
get like, what the fuck, bro? Why would you do like, dude? Like, that's small ball.
I don't wish that when I see what happened. It happened to Steve Gleason, the guy from New Orleans Saints. I see what happens to other people. This is really, dude. This is a slow death sentence. This is no fucking.
Yeah. That's why I can't get hot about it. But it's still just like trying to suck breath back in. Like, okay, keep moving. Here we go. All right, that was a fucking low blow.
You're crying.
All right. Here we go, boys.
There we go. The truth is in people's actions.
Yeah, man.
This guy always had it in him to some degree. This is sort of extending the enlightening part of it as we talk about people that are so desensitized with the Epstein stuff, the Kevin Spacey stuff. There's definitely some kind of mass psychological thing that happens to people, like the accumulation of things. Like how many things do you need? How much materialism do you need? How much money do you need? How much
home gym?
Well, I'm going to let people in on a secret. I didn't pay for any of that stuff.
Okay, so there's the question. Here's the question. So if people kept giving it to you for free, you're okay with that? You just be like, how much do you need? They'll just give you new equipment every month and be like, here's some equipment.
I'd be sitting on a flat incline-decline bench right now as my chair. Hey, listen.
Don't be hot. If you're hot, say you're hot.
My introvert characteristics outweigh my
no, that's not
blessings.
Funny. That's not even fucking funny.
So how bad are you going to feel in about 3 weeks when I donate that rack out there to a Boys and Girls Club?
Oh, boy.
By a Boys and Girls Club, you mean Justin
Not
French?
just that. He's going to donate that rack to a Boys and Girls Club.
Justin French.
Any rack. All right. So let's get like.
Make this a conspiracy show.
You know what, dude? No, enough.
Go ahead. Enough of what?
All these scumbags that listen to us, all these quote unquote fans, they think they're on our level because they can.
That's Stevie's buyer.
Yeah, dude. These are
Stevie's
pro wrestling
supplier,
team's buyers.
Buyer. I don't care what he is. I don't care.
Guns for hire.
We can joke with each other because we're friends. We've shared the ring together. We've shared shows together. We've shared personal stories together.
Beat the shit out of Rick Recon.
Yeah, we've broken bread together. None of these other assholes out there.
Major
none of these other I wasn't in OVW, so I can't. But none of these other assholes out there, right out there, can come on here and think they're on our level and can joke with us like we joke with each other. So Justin French, go fuck yourself.
Poor Justin French is sitting. He's sitting in his NASCAR and his ears are burning.
Thanks for listening, but you know what? At the end of the day, I don't know you. You don't know me. So for you to go on Twitter and start cracking jokes like a fucking dumbass, really? You don't think I'm going to sit there? Or you think I'm going to sit there and just take it and go, oh, he's a listener? No. If you don't listen again, I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself.
I'll tell you what, this is.
At this point, I'd like to thank XR Butcher for some bits.
Yeah, XR Butcher, thanks for the bits, bro. You thought it was we waited for summer for Heat Wave 98, baby. It's in January as there's no snow in New York, and it all got melted because of these guys. And all of my tears, I guess, washed away all the snow.
He's a mark, and he thinks
Justin
he's fucking cool.
didn't do anything. I was just busting balls because that's Stevie's gym
So
buyer.
let's get to the enlightenment of General J. Raymond, whose family has been in the American military since 1865. His great-great-grandfather, the first in his class at West Point. His great-grandfather graduated from West Point. His grandfather graduated from West Point. His father graduated from West Point. He went to the Air Force to show them all wrong and, got to the highest level. And now he is the first commissioned officer, commanding general of Space Force.
Space Force.
Space
Stevie,
Force.
say it in your voiceover voice.
Welcome to Space Force.
I was kind of hot. I watched it. He didn't do a
Nobody
Star
told me if that
Wars
was good or not.
line.
They just gloss over it. I mean, it was.
Okay, anyway, so it's Space Force, right? Go ahead.
I'll add some EQ next time.
I liked it. He didn't do.
Did anybody
He didn't do a Star Wars line. He didn't do a Star Trek line. He didn't do a Battlestar Galactica. Go home for the nerds. Nothing, dude.
I would have loved if this dude came out like Zap Brannigan from Futurama.
Dude, you know for a fact before you went out there, Trump went, "Listen, okay, don't say no fucking lines from no Star Wars, Star Trek. Stick to the fucking script, and you'll make your 170 grand a year."
Dude, I think
goddamn general.
It didn't have any futuristic thing in it. It felt like, without saying it, get there before China so we can have a position of defense to kick the shit out of anybody who wants to launch a satellite. We'll fucking end that real quick. And that's it. And the message was, it's time to get to work. Like, dude, that's not the fucking mentality of going to space. Like, his whole branch of the government, everything else is fundamentalist religion. Go rape and pillage iron ore or lithium and heroin from fucking Afghanistan under the guise of whatever, right? We're talking that's human problems. That's small. We're talking about going into fucking space and like massive, like, you know, the new world of like exploration. This is 1400 all over again.
Wonder in this.
Yeah, there was zero. It was as fucking military, dry, bald asshole as it could possibly be, with a bunch of suits who stood up for everything to clap perfectly and then went immediately silent. And would fucking stand there. It was bad, dude.
You're just pissed because he's number one contender to your Planet X division.
I got him, bro.
That's what he's going for.
Day. I got him all day.
You guys remember Star Blazers?
No. Yeah, dude.
Oh,
yeah.
I wish that you brought out the captain and they started playing the song and everything. That would have been great.
You know what? All I kept thinking, do you guys remember Enterprise with Scott Bakula?
Oh, yeah.
That no one liked. Now, do you remember the opening song?
Yeah, Faith at Heart.
Right. So I used to watch that, and I used to love that opening song, right? And I was such a mark for it. I'm like, oh my God, that's so. Every time I was like, oh, that's so good. And then I found out it's a fucking Rod Stewart song, and I was like, ugh. Like,
come on, dude.
Took all the air out of my sails. But the whole opening of that show was man's fucking discovery of getting into space. And it built everything in an opening theme song. This made you go, fuck yeah. Well, and that's what I was expecting.
There was nothing. There wasn't one line, dude, in that whole thing. It was like, let me thank the general for his friendship, his mentorship, and his leadership. And let me thank my wife. I lied to you again. We got to move, honey. And then fucking off we go, like in the next asshole military thing. Dude, this needs to be the wonderment to capture America. If he really wanted to do it, he should have put it over as like not even an American military thing. He goes, we are about to enter a new era in humanity, and I'm honored to be a part to lead that this way. We'll do our best with technology and safety to make sure that space is colonized in there was none of that, dude. Not even a little bit, dude.
You know why?
No.
Because he sucks.
No.
Enlighten me.
Because it's probably already been happening.
Yeah, this guy's just a figurehead that
it's
you go
like,
to.
Yeah, like, you might as well announce I've been doing it for 10, 20 years.
He's Jack Tunney.
But see, to me, this is the time to do it then and be like, when you're just normalizing the top guy of Space Force.
World Wrestling Federation. I do a pretty good Jack Tunney.
You do a good Tunney. But this is their chance to start stooging things off little by little, you know?
Stevie needs to be the voice of Space Force from now on.
I will be the voice of Space Force.
So I don't know, man. I didn't feel too strong about this guy, man.
No, man. It was really dry. It was really, like, honestly, this could have. Okay, Starship Troopers. Anybody saw that in the theaters?
Yes.
Okay. Back when we saw it in the theaters, every time they would do that, do you want to know more? Everybody who left that theater after seeing Starship Troopers, if you would have had Clancy Brown outside of the fucking table signing boys up for fucking Starship Troopers, dudes would have signed up right out of that movie, flat out. This could have been that. This could have been that situation where you go, we're going to start this whole new era. We are up there. We are going to protect the world from up there. You know, he could have made correlation to angels or whatever else. We are your guardian angel from space. They could have done any of that fucking powerful drama
Up
shit.
there, not down
And
there.
they would have had, what'd you say?
We're going to protect from up there, but not down there.
Down where?
Oh, you don't know.
Down here.
Imagine if we ended with that at the end of the press
That would have been
conference.
strong.
That would have been great.
That'd have been
But now
strong.
again, people would have watched that, and they could have, that would have went viral of people losing their shit over this guy going nuts. You know,
Yeah, but-
making this great statement. People would have signed up. Kids right now watching would have came home and go, oh fuck, you know what? I don't have any direction in my life. I'm going to join the military to get in the Space Force.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
There was none.
They
There
would've-
was
they
none of
would've made
that.
the
Like
mistake.
recruiting. There was none of
No,
that.
dude.
Like we're gonna
Well,
need.
there's a reason
No.
why. Do you want to hear why?
Sure.
Two reasons. One, they don't want too many people to join up real quick and become part of this because they have nothing. And this is just propaganda to either hide more money and embezzle it to other projects. And
That
it's
doesn't
just-
make any sense.
Hold on a second, man. What do you mean it doesn't make any sense? If they put a
Why?
if
You're
put
saying
the-
they don't want people to sign up? That's exactly what they want.
Listen, brother. What I'm saying is they invest $1 billion in this, right? All of a sudden you get so many people who want to sign up and they join the ranks and do this and this and the other. Guess what? That $1 billion that they allegedly put into this program, but is being spent on another program, has to actually be spent to accommodate all these people who are actually signing up. So guess what? They work themselves into a shoot. That's one. Two, second thing is all these people do sign up, and it's all sis boom ba rah 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 Space Force, Space Force. Guess what? If Space Force already exists, like the dude from Gaia was saying, and it's been around for 20, 30 years, and there have been wars in space and all this sightseeing and jumping from here to Mars, just like that. Guess what? You have all these people there into the program now. Shit gets leaked out much easier than having only a handful of people in the program who can keep a secret for a time.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
This is where I'm going to disagree. Okay,
What?
sorry.
Well, we had that one article where they showed the sheer cliff in Mars, and it looked like a built wall,
That's-
right? Like
Yeah.
as a dumb base.
Yep, the 90 degree.
And then I just finished The Watchmen, which is all about him being sent to Mars, where he's in a VR world and has to break through a rift with the dead bodies of the clones, and he makes a help me fucking thing from Mars to get back
But he wasn't on Mars. He was in Europa. He was on the moon of Jupiter.
Sorry, yeah. Like the myth was that he was, and that's where
Yeah.
he was. But before we get into it, I got to say a quick shout out here. The Bandalorian is possibly going back tomorrow as we go to the Bahamas to his original house. I don't know if I'm going to get him back after that or not. So this could be the possible.
No way.
I'm going to try, obviously, man. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm going to see her tomorrow. But shout out to the Bandalorian, buddy. To the
What
Conspiracy
if I just come up
Horsemen.
and get him? Come up and get him tonight.
Well, I'm kind of glad that he's going to be there with somebody for the week that we're gone. So hopefully I can just get him back. But I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow, man.
The reason I'm disagreeing with GGP movies, I just want to point this out, and this is actually a fact. Movies like Navy SEALs, okay, movies like Platoon and shit like that. All these movies, there was always a sharp spike in
Dudley.
enrollment after these movies happened.
Yeah.
So everybody who came in and went, I want to be a Navy SEAL, nobody was. These were all schmucks who went in and they wanted to be Navy SEAL. So in order to get to be a Navy SEAL, you go in and they go, I want to be a Navy SEAL. And the guy goes, great, sign here. And that's where they were left. They were left at that where they signed up, because you're not going to be a Navy SEAL. 99% of these guys aren't going to make it to that, but they will not turn someone away and say, son, you realize your chances of being a Navy SEAL are nil because you're an idiot.
Yeah, but you're
They
comparing
don't ever say that
apples and
shit.
oranges now.
Not at all.
Yes,
They're going to
you
sign
are.
up. They want the bodies, dude. They want
they
those
don't.
bodies.
Listen, guy, let me explain why they don't want the bodies right away.
Sure.
Because they can't go to space. There's nothing there.
Well, we
They
did
don't care.
from one of our extreme sites. I think it was Disclosure, maybe, or Forbidden Knowledge. one of you guys shared there's already space, Navy, huge ships up there where it is to, maybe not Star Destroyer size, but like whatever that we've got up there that are multiple ISSs where, here's the thing why you don't need 40,000 people. You got to get them in space, feed them, get shit up to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's a branch of the military that's going to have a big amount. The way he was kind of talking in this press conference is there's going to be a crossover right from the Air Force. 20,000 are going to get dumped into Space Force, and it's going to be the pilots, the technicians.
But are they?
Well,
but that's the point. They don't ever have to send these guys anywhere. They can go through the basics, and then they'll say, "Oh, we have X amount of spots to do Space Force," and guys go, "I'm going to try out for it." Oh, you didn't make it. This guy made it, though. It's all a rigged system.
Yeah, but you got to talk like maybe even you only have the amount of Blue Angels flyers, right? Because they have hypersonic spacecraft that can go around the planet in X amount of time. So you don't need a fucking ton of them, at this time where nobody's up there to do that. So it's more about
to turn people away.
Maintenance, creation, what's going on at Lockheed.
No, they're not going to turn people away, but they're not going to glorify it to where it's the best thing since sliced bread so they can't sign up. You got to realize one thing. If they're hiding money, if this is just a line item on a balance sheet or an income statement or a P&L or something, and they're hiding it as the line item, oh, we spent X amount of dollars on Space Force. Guess what? If they're smart, if they have that as a line item, just so it's a front for something else. I mean, let's face it. If you get all these people to jump on board and you have to start spending money on it, what's going to happen? It becomes a reality. And if they can't back it up, it becomes a farce.
You're making it sound like an expensive school lunch program. That shit is so far removed from their budget that all they'd have to do is show. They'd say, well, since Space Force was enacted, we had enrollment jet up to this. And they'd go, oh, terrific.
Yeah, that's fine, but
that's not the premise of this conversation. The premise of the conversation is why didn't they sell this better with this guy? That's what I'm saying. They didn't sell it better because they're just bringing it to the table saying, hey, it's here. It's time to go to work. It's all business now. But for whatever reason, we don't know the underlying plan of everything because they're still kayfabing it. If they come out guns a-blazing, guess what? They're going to have to show all their cards because they're going to have to satisfy every who wants to be part of this.
I think they could have jumped the stake a lot farther. Today was just like lip service. So either they don't have anything, which you could be 100% right about GGP, or they missed the opportunity to really advance everybody to be like, see, it's Space Force. Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, we've got this, which we saw in our chat. And if you guys are on twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen, you can see it. But these blueprints for 5 to 6 different types of supposed anti-gravity systems from the Naval Air Warfare Center, Aircraft Division, NAWC, for life. And one is a triangle. It looks like everything we've seen on Secure Team 10 for the last 5 years. And the other one is a tic-tac shape, and they're split in half, and it looks like, fairly simple mechanism in these blueprints that are patents that were made out there. It doesn't go into which each number on the patent is, but I'm scrubbing through them here, and it's very interesting that this hits only a couple weeks beforehand, where we're talking anti-gravity drives. Another one kind of reminds me of the shape and description of Vimanas, from Indian culture, kind of a coned structure, as we've seen the bell, the Nazi anti-gravity bell. It looks very much like that. And yeah, and then even here's one with, some type of Photoshop with the triangle UFO with the lights in each corner, which has been kind of the most seen one, or the diamond version of that with this anti-gravity technology. And today I was expecting, if here's the slow leak, that this would be the guy of saying all he would have had to say is we're pioneering new flight and aviation technology. You may see them in the sky soon. It's nothing to worry about. This is Space Force, and this is what your tax dollars are going for. Because here's what I hearken back to, especially when I saw that oval one in the patent. Remember what McAfee told us about when he was working on Black Ops? He goes, these might not be things from outer space. These may be technologies that are alien that we've had for 40 or 50 years that you're now seeing in test flight, in patterns, all that kind of stuff. So very interesting of when we had him on. Then we get the patents. We had the Stooge report from the Air Force who are guys flying regular, whatever their mission is out of Fort whatever. And they are seeing these Tic Tac UFOs moving in an incredibly different rate and ability than what their, jet propelled engine is. And they're catching it. But was that American secret technology beforehand? And that's what McAfee proposes. And then I see this patent. It kind of lines up. Also, I got to say, Mike Hawes, 5,000 bits in the chat room, man. Very, very, very generous. Appreciate that, dude.
Shout out to Mike Hawes.
Yeah. Big time. Sally, what do you think about the blueprints,
He's
man?
a good lad.
Fucking steak eating motherfucker.
Bumps and bruises.
Yeah, every time I see that guy's fucking feed, guy's eating steak, sitting on his porch, fucking vaping his little pen out.
Got a sauna in his house.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, Lena doesn't break windows. All kinds of shit. Mike Hawes knows how to do it. He's got a full arcade in his house.
Doesn't break windows. I
That
just got
works.
that. That was
Replace the
fucking
buttons
stiff,
and the
too.
joysticks. I just did a video. It's going to be dropping tomorrow. It lit up
Is that
and
your
everything.
whack-a-mole board that you showed today?
New control panels coming. It'll have your picture on it, Sal.
All right.
All right.
gonna
No,
fucking
thanks for being so
smack your
excited
butt.
about it.
So
So you're gonna smack your button.
So nobody's pumped about patents for anti-gravity. It's just me, I guess. Okay.
No,
Sal,
no, here's the
Sorry,
thing.
guys. I fucking.
it's not.
I agreed. Again, we all agreed pretty much with McAfee that I felt that all this stuff is things we've already had. It goes back to, I guess it was like 90. Was it like 96 or 97? Something about where they had. Remember the old Japanese had video phone that you plugged it into your PS Vista or your PS. It was like the old school.
I don't remember
Lynx
that.
or some shit. But that was the thing. They had a video cell phone patent blueprint done before cell phones were a thing. Okay, and now it got leaked out years later after it was all said and done. And then the mods on how to make your game system a video phone, if you could hook up to the internet and shit like that. We've had the information. We have all these patents. Now it's just a point of practical use.
Well, I mean, these were patented in 2018, and then the Stooge report came not long after that from the Air Force pilot, man.
Right, but like I'm saying, like when you're patenting, however that word, when you're going to get the patent
But when
done,
you're potato seeding that, yeah, go ahead.
when you're potato seeding the fucking the patenting, the point is you don't have to patent it if nobody else knows that you have it.
Is that Emperor patent?
Well, you do have to patent it
Mike
if you're going to
Patton
go.
from Faith No More.
If you're going to go in to mass production, that's when you need to patent, right? You go from
Right.
R&D into we got something here into that. So now we're going to see Tic Tac
Because-
Space Force, Tic Tac Paddywhack, Stevie, give a dog a bone. What are you fucking thinking over here on this, man?
Yeah, there's definitely, I don't even know how long we've had this technology because I know the B-1 bomber was something that was in flight for decades before it was even declassified. So whatever they're letting us see now and these schematics, what do they really have? It's like drone technology. Drone technology was around since the 80s or the 90s in a military fashion before they publicly started attacking Afghanistan with drones, with UAVs, the original UAVs, the big ones.
Right.
So you have to think, if they're letting us have drones now, what do they really have that they're using? And how fast can they fly? How much payload? Are they dropping like let's not forget, like there's a big secret out there with Iraq about depleted uranium that's being dropped on people and stuff. And I mean, there's like all sorts of stuff. So what I'm saying on that too, what element are they using to drive and propel these craft that could be doing damage to the environment too?
Oh, I'm trying back in, and this is this is anecdotal. Like it was 90, I think 94, 95. A friend of mine went into the military, went into the army. He was going to be a bomb guy. Like, what kind of a fucking mental patient are you that's what you're going in for?
What year?
Go in and find bombs.
What year?
And detonate them. 94, 95.
Oh, okay.
And they showed him a video of spent uranium in tips of high caliber rifles. And this thing fucking shot a goat through a wall. And like just like and the hole was this big just because of the force that it carried. And this was back in the day. And that when the guys were shown that, it was a super fucking hush hush. Nobody talk about this, nobody say anything because it's something we're working on. This is back in 95. To putting spent uranium in fucking in ammo rounds, which is ridiculous. And the gun that you needed to fire it wasn't like a G.I. Joe gun. That's the other thing, man. All the shit going on in G.I. Joe. Like you look at all that gear, we have it. We have that fucking gear.
Yeah, all the energy weapons and shit that they would have, the sonic stuff.
Yeah, man.
Wow,
all the fucking silly bullshit. That
Mike Hawes with another 5,000 bits, you guys. Big
Cheers,
shout out,
mate.
Hawes, man. Fucking awesome, bro.
ya.
Appreciate that,
fucking
dude.
guy.
Listen, so you're telling me we're gonna get these Rob Liefeld big ass cable guns that look like Zippo
awesome,
lighters?
You mean I can actually take my dad's super modified chainsaw and attach that to my 308 with the scope on it at the same time?
There's only one chainsaw
Oh, sorry.
that rolls with the horseman. That's Stevie's gimmick. I mean, Steven.
Stevie, what do you think about the DreadNok, Stevie?
Oh yeah.
Why don't you dread this knot, Steve?
Oh, come on, Steve.
I'm like Zoltan. I can be anything you want me to be, Stevie.
My pussy is moldable into anything.
Stevie, I'll call you Mommy.
You can mold my pussy into anything, Stevie. Just like Zartan's face.
That's the voice of a lost TV show right there.
Oh, shit.
Stevie, my pussy's a weather device.
It's a weather dominator.
It's a weather dominator. Stevie.
I'll be your weather dominator. What's
I'm
your safe
down
word?
on you.
What's your safe word, Destro?
Destro.
Cobra. La 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 la.
I give you that.
Stevie, you don't even have to wear a rubber because I'm barrenness. It's fine, Stevie. You can just shoot it.
Jet?
This is my sister, the Nemesis Enforcer.
It's
Tomax, I'm saying.
Yeah, she's Tomax, I'm saying.
I know
you
it's
can
such a
check out my Crimson Elite Guard, Stevie.
Yeah.
I know it's such a mystery.
Shoot your globulus all over me. Shoot your globulus, Stevie.
I just can't figure it out.
Who's mommy's little bad android trooper?
I want to see your twins, Toma. I want to see your
wild weasel.
You're the tunnel rat. You're the tunnel rat tonight, Stevie.
Call me your tunnel rat. Yeah, Stevie, I'll be your firefly.
Is this what the
demolish anything.
Alpago or whatever?
There's no roadblocks here, baby. No roadblocks to this.
Call me Deep Six. Call me Deep Six. I'll give you a snow job, you son.
Winner, chicken dinner. That's it.
Wow, shut it down. Shut it down after that. We didn't even get the Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow on that fucking egg.
God.
Quality.
You don't besmirch them.
Quality.
Can't fuck with the hard clan, the soft clan.
God.
Quality.
Tremendous.
Though Stevie, I'm the soft master.
Oh God, tremendous.
The Laugh Fest now. The Cry Fest was earlier.
And I'll show you Leatherneck.
Oh, Stevie.
Oh, God.
I could be the aircraft carrier. You could be Cobra's gunships and blow the shit out of me.
The big he was during those conversations was she would call me Steve.
Yeah.
Steven.
I'll call you
but
Dr. Panty Bender.
Oh, shit.
Tremendous.
But yeah. But like I was saying, like
Space Force.
Yeah.
Space Force. Seeing, actually growing up with G.I. Joe, seeing G.I. Joe, the show and the toys and all that shit, and then seeing those things, like, the ATVs and the Jeeps and the shit like that we, I had no actual idea that those things existed.
Gotta put it over. Gotta put it over. You gotta do it. Just do it. You see it. You just say it. Tuttle's line. Tuttle's line. You just see. Do you see Tuttle's line in there? Just do it. Just do it.
Steven, how about this? You could Sergeant Slaughter my pussy.
Fuck.
Oh, shit.
Motherfucker.
Oh, God. That was tremendous.
Oh, shit.
Space Force.
Oh, shit.
You need to save that forever, dude. That's got to be a great.
Oh, that was good.
Space Force.
See if they played that at the end, that would be awesome.
That would have been
That would've
great.
been
I'd
great.
sign up.
Everybody just
That's what I'm
stood.
saying.
Everybody just stood there in stunned white waspy silence. It was so fucking weird, dude.
They could have did this so much. Oh shit.
Yeah, all right.
Be strong and brave. Our home we got to save. If we don't, it's just
God, this.
Mother Earth will disappear.
Again, they missed out.
Trump actually came out with a promo talking about our enemies, the Gamelons, like from Star, like he did the Dark Knight Rises promo.
Yeah.
He like word for word for like Bane on the steps of the jail. Like Trump would do that as a troll, just bring out some
just to get
Star
people to
Trek or
bitch.
Starboy. And I'm surprised Trump didn't do a speech that was and had like cosplay people around him. Like that's Trump.
Imagine if
There's
he
still
came
a
out with
chance.
stormtroopers.
That'd be dope.
Oh,
Imagine at the end of the speech, he goes, Nanu, Nanu.
He did-
Like-
oh man, yeah, like literally just to
Listen.
do any of these things. I don't. Again, does anybody else feel like they should have booked all of us just to write this shit out?
dude,
Oh, yeah, why not?
they should have had the serious thing, done a little bit of comedy and inspiration from it. Then they should have had the PR thing for the kids, where he comes out and fist bumps with Darth Vader and fucking he's got the troopers and all of Star Trek is there for all the
Yeah, but you're
cosplay
looking at it
nerds.
from an entertainment point of view. This guy's trying to be serious to get it over. If he does that, then people are going to associate it as a farce. and that it's a waste of money. And
dude,
that's
No,
gonna
but
be-
everybody who has the imagination that guys like
They'll
us
be in
who
love
think
with
about
it.
this stuff all
Yeah,
the
but
time.
what happens when expectations get too grand?
No,
It always fails.
go back to 1950, bro. Look at all the marketing from 1952 till the fucking moon landing, bro. From Tang to whatever toys it was. It would take off everything as big as the world that you're involved in. With NFL, you're telling me those dudes wouldn't be fans of like, in my lifetime, we're actually gonna fucking get to do it. My kids could be on the first fucking Star Destroyer. Just to be marks like that and like capitalize. I think they're missing a huge opportunity by doing it. I'm a ex fucking military and da 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 da, and that's all we're gonna do here. And like, it just didn't have any flavor to it whatsoever.
Well,
No
here's the
imagination.
thing with that even if the moon, whether you believe we went to the moon or not, it gave hope to the country. It gave hope and it gave
Absolutely.
purpose to people. More to an extent back in World War I and World War II, united the country to have a purpose, no matter what the reasoning behind it was. The moon landing and even NASA with the space shuttle stuff had a certain kind of inspiration where kids wanted to be astronauts. They need the next generation of that.
Dude, let me just point this out. It's something, and this is from an entertainment point of view. No science involved. This is science fiction. People who grew up in the 40s and the 50s, going to drive-in movies or going to noon matinees and staying all day watching Flash Gordon and all this bullshit, they were like, no scientist came out and said this shit, but they were like, 1984, we're gonna have flying cars. They were fucking full on set, and when that shit didn't happen, they were like disappointed.
Exactly. So why hype up the Space Force when nothing's gonna happen?
Because it took them 30 fucking years to get there. You know,
Get where? We haven't gone anywhere.
But that's the thing, exactly. Nobody's lost hope from it. They had to do the moon thing because we had to get there before the Russians and the Chinas and the Red Scare, all that bullshit. So let's get to the moon first. Hey, look, guys, we're on TV first. We did it first. Hooray! Everybody's happy. The world's united. Terrific. United States. All right, USA. Every time we had to do something, they send up the space shuttle. This could be reused, everybody. Everybody's like, fucking yeah, we're in space. Then they call it the Star Wars program. Holy fuck. Why'd they call it the Star Wars program? Because, well, we don't want to give everybody making a joke. Bullshit. They struck a nerve and everybody went, oh, we're protected. We are absolutely fucking protected. So they knew used just enough to fucking pull them in. And they should have kept doing it. And this was another spot they should have just done it and kept it in. But they didn't. They missed it. They missed the opportunity. And they made this a fucking C-SPAN event.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened?
It was a C-SPAN event, dude.
But that's what me and Pop and Om were saying. It was so boring and so low key, and so let's get this press conference out of the way. Let's not make it a big pomp and circumstance thing. It just makes me think that they've been doing it all along, and this is so matter of fact.
And that, but that's fine. If it was so matter of fact, then tomorrow I want to see that big motherfucker land out of space, or like the ground open up on the secret dumb base behind me, and fucking 5 of them rise out, and it just becomes commonplace that they're doing Amazon drops and from here in Rome up to the fucking thing. Like there was none of that. Like it just was just some.
I don't know why they're not, because you could land. I always say you could land a UFO on the White House lawn, and people just go about their day. You could say, by the way, everything you heard about deep underground military bases, everything you heard about this, it's not skinwalkers and all these creatures, and it's not aliens. It's just us doing what they do in the X-Men when they lift the X-jet or X-plane up. That's all we're doing. Oh, yeah. Cool. Let me go about my day. Nothing to worry about. Huh?
Blackbird.
I don't care. So,
wow. Jeez.
Go ahead,
GGP. My voiceover voice? Whatever.
Couple things.
Whatever.
Okay.
Don't care. Space Force.
Space Force.
Okay. So, case in point, you just said, why don't they just do, 5 of them pop up and do, show this, show that, show Amazon drop-offs with UFOs. All right. Here's the deal. We have something called Project Blue Book. Not Project Blue Book, Project Blue Beam.
Blue Beam.
Yes,
right.
Blue Beam. Right? So Project Blue Beam. Supposedly the government's going to fake an alien invasion to get everyone together on the same page because, a friend of my friend, a friend of my enemy is my friend, whatever the fuck the saying is, whatever. Right? So...
I mean, we've seen the things in China, right? With
we saw the
looks like they're like a big city in the sky. There were giants walking around, some type of portal opening.
Okay, well,
Go
here's
ahead.
the deal.
Yep.
Here's the deal. They don't make a big deal out of this whole Space Force thing, right? They throw it in out there. They do a little press conference. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Reason being, they don't want to bring too much attention to it because what happens? They drop it. X amount of time later, they stage this fake invasion. Guess what? Problem, we have a solution. It's called Space Force, and it's presented by Donald Trump and the U.S. government, and it's going to save the world. And everyone's going to forget about everything. They're going to forget about the economy and the faulty fiat currency. They're going to forget about the debt, and they're going to forget about the beef with this.
Sorry, let me just
and the
time
beef
out.
with
Let
that
me
country.
just time out you right there, because I like where you're going, and I wish it was that level of blue beam. But here's everything I've seen, because I've been, I looked into General Stephen Quast, and now this guy Jay Raymond, and what it is a Cold War tactic, like you guys described earlier, against China. That's all they're going against, dude.
It could be. No, I'm not saying
that's just how they're framing it out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You could expect to see it that way instead of the Ronald Reagan, if we're threatened from an outside, entity from another galaxy, how quickly we'd all come together. This is still going to be, fuck those guys over there. We got to get to space first, because if they get there first, they're going to rule the planet as a economic superpower. So we got to get our defense mechanisms in the air so we can shoot down. China just spent a fuck ton of money and innovation and all their scientists, but watch us blow their shit out of the sky because we can't let them get ahead. That's still the mentality, instead of saying, let's come together as a human race to fucking go out and explore like Vasco da Gama, Columbus, and fucking whoever else, right? Like, that's not the mentality. It's still, fuck those motherfuckers over there.
But here, listen to this. You guys were saying before, in 1984 we're gonna have flying cars, and there was technology in the past. Let's look at what was presented to us. Death ray, Tesla papers, Tesla's having thousands of patents from inventions that never seen the light of day, and the government swooping in and taking everything after he dies, right? The element 115.
Yeah, very good, because when Stevie said what was that element that makes it do it, I was going to say, have we found a way to manufacture element 115? Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This guy comes out in the 80s, drops this freaking knowledge on us, and it's not true. He's fake. 20 years later, it comes to pass, right? The internet originally was around what, the 70s?
He was
80s?
talking Bob Lazar, guys. If you're looking for who we're talking about there, if you're a new listener, Element 115, Bob Lazar. Check out the Joe Rogan podcast. Does a lot of good stuff there, but there's earlier stuff too. Go ahead.
Also, the thing on Netflix. Didn't he have his documentary on Netflix?
Documentary on Netflix. Yep.
So there's so many things that the government works on and has hush and kayfabe that they've been in the pocket for the last 20, 30 years. That's coming out now. Cell phones, come on, man. Zach Moore's cell phone get a fucking signal in the middle of the Sahara Desert, but this cell phone, go underneath the Lincoln Tunnel, you're done. You know what I mean? Like, the technology's there. The technology's there. Whether or not we are privy to it, that's a different story. So these ships that are saying these patents, all these scenarios that happen, could it be aliens? Maybe. Could it be back-engineered aliens, alien spacecraft, alien technology that we reverse engineered and now made into military weapons and have been testing it out for years to see if we can get it right? Maybe. Who knows?
Well, here's that. I think you've got a great point there. So let's go around the horn to get opinions, because this, aside from crying the fucking blues or getting good laughs over, sorry if we're not emotionally entertaining or stable enough for you motherfuckers, but
we're still complaining.
No, nobody. I'm just getting my shit in too.
Yeah,
but like, to get it over, like, this does have me stepped back a little bit from where I was of like, in the last 5 years with Secure Team 10 and being like, dude, we're getting visited a ton more and it's getting captured and like aliens are making themselves more aware, to I've shifted to the black ops of us re-engineering alien technology and now applying that into Space Force, and that's what's really being captured. I think that it is alien technology, but what you're seeing on camera is almost all U.S. made black ops, different ships, shuttles, and whatnot based on that in the last 5 to 10 years. And now with those patents and also this guy getting sworn in, now we're starting to get to the point of, okay, it's just going to be the norm.
Who's that guy who has the Coast to Coast radio show back in the day? What was his name?
Art Bell, George Norrie.
Art Bell.
Yeah.
Art Bell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, maybe you guys heard this. I know you guys probably have. Maybe the listeners, all three of them, maybe they have as well. Maybe back in the day, they had a guy get on the phone and call the show. And he was all suspect, saying he was from Area 51 and that they're not from outer space. They're interdimensional beings.
Oh,
wow.
well, look at Potter. Yeah, go.
what do we have now? We have quantum computers that are going into other dimensions that have been brought to the limelight, saying that they do exist and that there are multiverse that we're a part of, that they're going into different dimensions and stealing resources, whether the resources is technology, bodies, medicine, or just electrons and neutrons and protons. Who knows what they're taking? Everyone's doing this, but the bottom line is, if you connect the dots, a story's being told.
Well, Stevie sent that in the Horseman chat, and we're going to hopefully invite these guys on. Sal and I will try and take the biblical fucking bias out of it. But he's putting out, I found FBI document, I have to look more into it, document 6751, where that talks about interdimensional beings from the 1940s. Now, what happened in the 1940s, the end of World War II? We get all of these super Nazis who are in the Thule Society, and
Hitler's Bell, man.
Hitler's Bell
reportedly did that shit.
And the Thule Society, and that are all into satanic worship and whatnot, as they try and contact interdimensional beings. And supposedly, as it talks about Jack.
Is it satanic worship or is it anti-God worship?
Esoteric. It was esoteric, meaning they used all forms of magic, all methods of magic, not just that. Like, to them, Satanism would be kind of like meh. Anybody can do that.
But supposedly,
we want to go. We want to go further than that. They went the Egyptian route.
So Jack Parsons,
Stevie, he didn't want to sell, but I popped Stevie with my
Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard. Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard supposedly doing these satanic rituals, sacrifices,
a lot of fucking drugged up blowjobs.
A lot of that shit going down, in the desert, and multiple times to no luck. And apparently they did something to cross over and opened up a portal through whatever means it is to get to the ethereal level that this guy talks about, where it's whether people with remote viewing or astrological projection, to get to this ethereal level where they're actually talking to entities that are the gods that sit on high, that we've seen in L. Ron Hubbard mythology and all that kind of shit. And that once Parsons and them died, once he had actually done it, they opened this portal. And this is from 1940s, where this is where it gets a little, fringy. The lights over the White House, Mothman, Roswell, a lot of these things were not from outer space. They were because of them opening portals to extra dimensions. Now, that being said, we have the belief, or we don't, that they come here, or they can get here, or they can't, or they're already here. We've heard that because the portal may be open. And as GGP said, if that was from the 40s, and you got Geordie Rose with the goddamn black box Saturnalia Super D-Wave computer saying it out loud, we want to get into these portals, and here is the actual way we can keep them open. Like, I hate to sell for fucking Bible Boy, who's half acting, but he's got something there in the roadmap of things. Doesn't he have something there, guys? Like, it makes me step back.
Okay.
I was going to say, here's another thing to think about, because we, a long time ago, it feels like, read the WikiLeaks emails with Podesta, with Hillary, how much they were into UFOs, into zero-point energy. Then you connect all the other sick stuff that we heard about, the occult type stuff that they're doing, within the elite, within the Illuminati. In that video, they talked about the Collins elite. We have to research what that is, right? Like, after these guys died and the portal was open, Parsons dies in an explosion in his lab, supposedly unrelated. Yeah. The portal's open. These military guys don't know how to close it because they're not Satanists. So they start forming a military guys Satanist group in hopes to be able to contact the realm to be able to close this. And inside that satanic group becomes the Colin elite, which I guess gets hooked on Drunk on Power, being able to talk to these upper ethereal, whatever pharaoh figures from Egypt that we see, the dog-faced gremlin or the fucking avians, whatever it is, man. Like, you like that one? I got him.
And now, to tie it all in, if you look at the new Doom that they just put out.
Okay.
It's the So basically, they teleport from here to the moon base, and at the moon base is where they have the resources. So they're going to go back and forth, send troops here, send scientists there, back and forth. They've worked on this teleportation. In the teleportation,
That seems like Corey Good 101 right there, right?
well, in this teleportation, between the time they leave here and hit the moon, they've crossed into this hell where now the people who cross over are now vessels for the demons within. So they show up on the moon as these demons now start taking over and start, in the vessels of humans. So this is the premise for the new Doom movie on Netflix. And that all ties in with what universes from here to there. If you look at all the universes like a giant book, look at it as a book this thick, and our universe is a page in that book.
Right.
And we can just drill through to another chapter, but that also leads that whole open to come back to our page.
Right. You don't know what's on the next page when you're a dumb little fucking creature in the desert tripped out on LSD and fucking microdosing DMT and shit, right?
Aleister Crowley was in Egypt with his wife and some other dude, and they were doing these rituals. Aleister Crowley allegedly saw a god. All he saw of it was his eye opening. And the guy they were with took it in and went insane and killed himself right there on the spot. So him and his wife were like, oh, fuck, let's get out of here. And they left. And that was when they touched the god the first time. The second time was at his place, the place that they're selling now, the place where Robert Plant got, the cat from, Judas Priest. All those guys, like the guys who wanted that, Robert Plant.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one, it was in his castle where he came on it again during, he was doing another ritual with a bunch of students of his, and all he saw was just the slightest touch of it, and allegedly it fucking fucked everybody in the house.
I'll go around the horn real quick one time because I want to come back to the satanic stuff because I got a pentagram thing that's interesting, but I don't want to leave you two guys out on your roundtable. Stevie, go ahead. What are you thinking here, man?
No, I just think this kind of stuff, when you connect it with the other stuff that we talked about the power, you wonder why these people do these sick things.
Yeah.
This could, at least, it's not a good reason, but it's something. Like, people will be like, that's complete bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. We've said it before. It doesn't matter if it's bullshit or not, but if somebody has full belief in it, that still makes them just as dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean they aren't going to want to kill people, sacrifice children, do whatever they can to get that portal open.
And that's what they were doing. They said there were, and this is in the video, so I have to finish the second half. It's about an hour long, where there were other ways to do it, but through these satanic rituals, you were always going to make contact if you did this a certain way once they figured it out. Go ahead, GGP.
One word. CERN.
Oh, that was it right there.
3 words. Goth Eternal Opening.
Oh, I like that. I mean, isn't that interesting of them coming through of these entities? And they said there was multiple entities, not like one race they made contact with. Like it was interesting talking about giving them technology or being uncontrollable energy just coming through.
Now listen, what if, and the fact that everyone keeps calling these people or beings gods, what if they're not gods? What if in their dimensions they're just average Joes, but because they're able to come here, they gain superpowers? Like Superman on Krypton is just an average Joe because of the red sun, and the yellow sun's what gives him power. What if we transcended over there and we have superhuman strength? We can fly. I'm just thinking off the top of the head.
What if it's just a fucking kid over there just ribbing somebody, and there's the kid is not powerful there, but it's super fucking powerful because he has access to these little portals in their mind, and you can fuck with somebody.
I mean, we don't know what it is, but I mean, look, there's a lot of things that happen in this world, both past, present, and in the future, that people cannot explain. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially now, with all this information coming out in the forefront from individuals saying there are multiple dimensions. There are capabilities that we have at our fingertips that lets us go in there and steal resources. And There are other people out there that say, well, you know what, this can't be true and that can't be true. But guess what? Something from the past, one little nugget of truth ends up coming to fruition years later. Guess what? It's Cosby math. It's most likely all true. So it is what it is.
Let me ask God Squad something. So if it turns out this isn't, they aren't considered aliens. They're not from they're not from space. They're from a different dimension.
They're undocumented dimensional beings.
Okay, fair. So now let's come to find this. These creatures are the same things that people have labeled as demons.
Could be.
Now, are they any less? Now that's the thing. I want to like. Do you guys now? Is it a situation where now it's like now they're the enemy because of the name change?
What enemy? Who's the enemy?
But that's what I'm saying. Like these creatures, these undocumented creatures. If they don't call them aliens, they call them demons. Now is it a thing? So it's a religious thing. Because now automatically all the religious now go, oh, they're demons. They're no good. We can't listen to them. We can't work with them. So now we've automatically started. Now we're starting a conflict with something from a different dimension altogether, just by a name.
Well, listen. What if the people who come here, or beings that come here, are evil because that's all they know, and they're labeled demons because demons have been labeled as evil people from hell or whatever, things from hell that do evil things and possess people to do evil things. So, I mean, if it quacks like a duck, people are going to call it a duck. I'm not saying that it is a duck. All I'm saying is it depends on the scenario. Just because another being from another dimension comes here doesn't necessarily make it a demon, but it could.
Well, according to the video.
Well, no, I didn't watch the video, but what I'm saying, I didn't get a chance to.
But a quick thing. The Nordics said that the Greys were evil and deceptors. So Greys, we all see Greys and go aliens.
And the Nordics were into Odin, Loki, all of these higher level multi-theologian gods, so polytheologians. So it seems like when this dude was talking, or whatever the feedback was from this colony elite and what's been leaked from whenever they formed them in the 1940s or 50s, some people got hooked on it as like being slaves to the master, having some new, way esoteric knowledge. It's way above the normal human stuff after they get to that point, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So definitely something I don't want to go on uneducated about, but the Collins Elite is something we definitely need to look into with this. Open up a whole can of worms today with that one, Stevie. We're going to have to watch that video a couple times and maybe have those guys on here. I don't want to put a beating on them too much because they do they do press the religious side for their audience, so I totally get what their niche is,
Well, maybe they press the religious side because that's what they can relate to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like we're all binary beings.
When you're using Tower of Babel mythology to like back your argument, like I'm sorry, you lose a little bit of cred with that. There was plenty of other stuff that you had going on. You don't need to go back to that. I mean, for his niche, he does, not for me. That's
what
not
if the other dimension is hell?
Like that's just.
What if the other dimension that we do open is hell, or is heaven, or an angels come
Here's
through?
the thing.
Sure.
We don't know. We have no idea.
If you watch some of Jacob Israel's videos from a while ago, you talk about Tower of Babel specifically. Right. New York City has some stuff that's like recreated the thing. He has a great video about it. I don't remember the details of all of it, but the symbolism of that. And once again, you talk about these aliens and demons and stuff. If they're connected to the people that are doing very evil things on this planet to try to contact them, I've never seen any people like us saying, hey, we want to reach out to them and try to just figure out how we can make this world a better place. You think about that. It's more evil comes from what we're hearing through conspiracies with the kind of people that are contacting these entities.
The other day, you know how Eddie Murphy has this rejuvenation now with his career, right? Doing SNL, all these Netflix stuff. He goes on this show with what's his name, Seinfeld. What's a comedian? Cars.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're talking, and they're having a discussion. And he says, I hung with Sammy Davis Jr. one night, and he tells me, and he does his impersonation, Satan is just as powerful as God. And, I worship Satan. And then realizes that Eddie wasn't biting and then changed the conversation. You know what I mean? So when people say, well, why do these people do things like Stevie was saying and worship these beings? Maybe because they get enticed to. Like you said, Stevie, how much money is enough? How much material objects are enough for you to consider yourself a success? Or how much do you have to strive to get the newest gadget and technology? Well, some of these people, they just sold their soul for fame. They just want to be
here's the
who
heads
they
up
are.
on that. The thing was, Sammy was into that shit in the time when it was cool to do it. He was being hip and wacky. And the thing is, that whole group, that LaVeyan Satanism, you got higher the more money you donated and spent for gimmicks, for parties, for everything else. So if he were to bring somebody in like that, that's a big fish.
It's
That
like
would look
Scientology,
very
dude.
good
Same
on his
shit.
right, exactly.
Well, it's same as
But this was
Battlefield Earth for what's his name?
that was a great movie.
Yeah, well, but it was written by
Travolta?
L. Ron Hubbard and acted in by
Right.
Scientology's #1 closet queen. So
And but that's the thing, it's Scientology getting, they were high end drugs and blowjobs and shit like that. That's what that was for. The more people you bring in, it's exactly like Scientology. All religions are. They're all based on the same thing. You bring more people into your side.
I mean,
You
look
want
at
people
look
to
at L.
join
Ron
you.
Hubbard. He looked like a toe with arms. He's a big fucking.
He was a little fucking herb.
Yeah,
And
Herb, that's a
It's
good
like-
word. That's a Queen's word.
he was.
That's a Queen's word.
So I mean that
He's
there's
little
plenty
ginger.
to the mythos that is and isn't real. I think it's very interesting, Space Force wise. The reality is it's Cold War era shit. It's not the imaginative part where we all want it to be. I hope we can take it over and take it. I'm taking a ball back. This was my dream, and I'm taking this one back.
Nice.
Thank you. And we actually get a little bit of imagination for the youth out there to be re-inspired like we were in the early 80s with Star Wars, how it is now, how our parents were in the 1950s with the space race. I think that's very important for I don't usually go in for patriotism, but that kind of shit is more patriotism for the world. That's a world win. And I hope we get there. Just quick update before we send it around to go home here. I watched Curse of Oak Island last night while I was rendering some video. And it
They
was
find anything?
a lot actually on this
They
one.
found the treasure?
Yeah, well they found
And One-Eyed Willie?
they found the original, what they call borehole, which goes all the way down next to where, like within 14, 15 feet of where they suppose that the vault is, because the guys who dug that got within X amount, like 6-8 feet, and the wall broke through and they get flooded, and that's where 3 of them died right in there. So they're expecting
that's
to find
what Stevie calls the whole show.
the whole
Original
after show.
borehole.
Original borehole. So
Is
they,
that Chainsaw's nickname?
yeah.
Borehole?
So then Al Borehole, and then they were
She's a
down.
luchador.
Yeah, they were
A
down
lucha whore.
where they quarantined everything off, where they found the dock from like 1600, and they found another dock with buried way deep underneath, and then there's this swamp that's a perfect triangle, and right in the middle of it is what they call the eye of the triangle. So we have a pyramid swamp with the eye of it. And so then they went in and they brought in this college group, of environmentalists. They took a core sample to go back to put in their super machines at their school. And he could tell that swamp was actually made and dated in 1200s, like 1220 to 1280, and then in 1600s something happened in there based on the core sample, because like you said with the book, it reads like pages as you go through, or like how a tree grows, the rings of a tree. So then when they found in this bay area these wooden spikes that pegged in the bay, those carbon dated back to 1280. So their whole hypothesis is that the Templars came there to hide something religious in 1200s. In 1600s, another mission was sent there because they're finding the tunnel from 1600, but they're also finding the shit that's dating back to 1200. that eye in the pyramid of the swamp that they made there, which is, it looks like a well in the middle of a swamp, like a natural one occurring, was made for some reason in 1200. They're going to drain that swamp fully. They're going to dig down through there to see why they would have dammed that off from the original island. And dude, like, all the efforts are just getting closer and closer and closer. But the story of the Templars being the first ones, and then Sir Francis Bacon being kind of the second group to come back there, plays into it. There's also these guys who have a theory, and they spell it out pretty awesomely on computer, where there's like these stones on the island, and when you line them up, it becomes a perfect pentagram. In the middle of that pentagram is the eye of that fucking swamp in the triangle. So we have Illuminati symbolism going back to Templar era. And then this painter made 3 paintings with a woman, like she looked like, you know, someone of more nobility, with a bunch of guys doing work, digging and moving trees to put treasures down in these holes. He painted them in 1600, like he was passed on this knowledge from generations. He did another portrait that was a self-portrait of it, and then in the background are like all these paintings stacked behind him. And in one little corner, there's a picture of this woman's face. She has a crown on, and in it is the Eye of Ra on the fucking crown. That woman is the woman that's in all 3 of those paintings for Oak Island. When you overlay the paintings on the fucking Oak Island map, the geometry of the paintings and the angles of how he does it lines up almost flawlessly with the fucking pentagram in the sacred geometry of that fucking pyramid, dude. So if there's one episode to bootleg where you want to catch up and see a bunch of shit go down, this was the fucking one to watch, man, because
I think they've threatened to cancel him. And they've come up with all that shit.
But it's like all outside conspiracy theorists of people who are not the Laganas who spent the money to do the drilling. These are like people who died, who have worked on it for 60 years, their work coming together with these other dudes' works, who's our art. And dude, it was pretty fucking awesome, man. Like, to watch it all come together.
I love hearing the passion in your voice, because it's a worker getting worked. I love it. Wow. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love
Dude.
it.
I think the real curse of Oak Island is that just they keep on seasons going on. Like, I watched it, dude. I swear to God, I was just like, this is really just boring, man. It's like the same.
Dude, archaeology is not sexy. It takes a long fucking time to do. Like, you gotta
tell Indiana Jones that archaeology ain't sexy.
Well, he's
Shakti Day, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, you saw like what he wanted when he went back to the college, right? How fucking bullshit it was for him at the college. Like, he wants to be out doing that shit, but dude, if you were down in a fucking mine trap in 1940 as Indiana Jones and the bitch starts to cave in on you and you don't have, breathers, yeah, that's damn exciting. That's not how it is right now with, history TV. So there's a lot in this episode, man, that was tangible, carbon dated evidence for Templars, and then the 1600 return. It was cool, man. And then the art stuff and the sacred G was pretty neat too. And they keep showing the one dude who's like a searcher every time he's in a shot. Freemason's G hat on, absolutely every fucking time.
So what happens when they open up this freaking thing, right? And they drain out the swamp, and they think they're looking for treasure. But what happens is when they open it up, and it's Dracula's freaking tomb, and he comes out and kills everybody.
Well, that'd be a hell of an episode. I mean,
that would be the greatest ending ever.
Some people, they like the difference is like the swamp with the eye in the middle of the triangle, they believe is a boat that they sank there in 1600 when they came back with like other treasure on it.
3-hour tour.
Yeah, with other treasure on it, where they just wanted to get it to the New World. The actual vault that's in the ground down nine stories is supposedly a religious relic that is that. So it'll be interesting to see. There's like 2 different spots, kind of.
Hold on. Put a pin in that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
This religious relic, they open up, they get this vault.
Some people say 10 Commandments. We're talking real Indiana Jones shit here.
If it is the 10 Commandments, the Holy Grail, whatever, the skeleton of Jesus Christ himself.
Sure.
would you start believing, or would you still consider yourself an atheist?
Well, I would have to see if it's just like,
dude.
I would have
Just
to see if
asking.
there's some, no, like,
I'm not trying to get
no.
over. I'm just saying.
does something happen?
Well, you're not, but no, it's
Is there a fucking moment of not Temple of Doom? What is it? The first one, everyone gets their face ripped off when they open the fucking Covenant.
Ark. Lost Ark.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, if there's a moment like that, I might fucking be like, oh, yeah, okay. But if it's just some dude's bones that a bunch of fucking gay dudes who went to be knights fucking protected, and there is no miracle to that, and there's nothing else aside from that, then I'm not impressed with putting up with anything.
So again, I haven't finished this book. You guys have to check this out, because it not only does it comes at me and you, Ben, it also goes to the religious side, because it says, listen, these things could have happened. There was an Adam guy, and this is literally for a whole other show. There literally was an Adam, a man of creation, but he was created in someone else's image 250,000 years ago. Whose?
Scuba Steve.
But that's the thing. So it gives credence to religion, but not in the way you were taught.
Well,
and it's a point of the Anunnaki were here and then created Adam. Go. And
you
so
might be right.
it sets on both sides. This book of the slave species is slave species of the world. It's a great
Dude.
book so far, and it's given a lot of thought process going on, and it's doing it very Wolfgang style, not saying believe this. It's asking you questions going, how do you explain this?
I went on Facebook and invited him on the show on his page. I heard a response, man.
Yeah, we'll keep trying. Stevie, I know it's not the most exciting for you, but when somebody to me goes, you know what, we think they might have got here in about 1620 to 1628, and then they dig down 15 feet and there's a fucking log that's 28 inches around, backed by perfectly laid rocks and shit. Like to me, that's just, even though it's not sexy and exciting, like, wow, they're right in there, right on it. And then when other things carbon date to where their other thing is in 1200 to back up two conspiracy theories, it was a cool episode for me, man.
My whole thing is like, what were they building there? What were they hiding there? And why isn't there a bigger effort to try to find out? Once again,
well, what they found were just like
history. They don't want to. Nobody wants to rewrite history. We already have the history books.
Yeah,
it's static. We don't have any reason to change history. This is why the same thing with Egypt or any kind of world history. It needs to be rewritten. Just like Sal said, if these things are true, everything needs to be rewritten. Why are we not doing that?
Yeah. And why is it up to independent researchers who spend their life, who can't get out there and get up to their, necks in dirt to find something? They're just doing it through libraries and lost text, and who knows, with the goddamn Vatican, they could have the whole real story all written out. They could have the Sir Francis Bacon, or Drake texts and all that kind of shit. They could have the original Templar text where like, oh yeah, go 17 feet from this fucking stone where I put that down. Instead, these guys are out here looking until they finally find it, and the show is slow. But yeah, it's an interesting episode, especially with the sacred geometry, artistry stuff, and that lines up. I'm excited to see what the next episode is. So, y'all are, guys. We gave them plenty of show, plenty of crying, laughing, space forcing. Anybody got anything sexy they want to plug?
Bend over, I'll show you, sailor.
Oh, I dare you took it first.
First things first, I just saw Stevie sent that something to the chat saying that Gwyneth Paltrow
vagina candle. We're not selling.
He's going to have a candle that smells like vagina. I just want to know how they're able to emulate Justin French's scent.
Oh shit!
Power. Bam.
Power.
Anyhow, just kidding, Justin. Just kidding. Just kidding. Fired. Maybe. No, I'm not kidding. Go fuck yourself.
No.
Anyhow.
Shots fired.
So here we go. Let's see. The 25th of January, I'll be at NYWC. The 15th of February, I will be at Immortal. 28th, I'm doing a fundraiser for a cancer benefit show at the Queens Elks Lodge. 22nd of February, I will be at NYWC for Psycho Circus. March 28th, I'll be back in California for AWS.
Is Mondo at Psycho Circus or no?
I don't know.
Oh.
He might be. I don't know. He's in Florida now, so I have no idea.
Right.
So that's it, man. Tomorrow NFO drops. We had Den of Nerds host come back on the show, Josh. We busted his chops last show for not showing up. We continue to bust his balls on this show. So it was very entertaining to say the least. Catch me at Greek God Papadon.
Where can they get the NFO shirt? Where can they get this?
www.newforceorder.com. We have outlets galore. You can buy mugs, you can buy shirts, you can buy, flamethrowers, whatever.
Give me
it's merchandising. So that's
awesome,
it.
Man. Sal, what are you working on horror junkyard wise this week, buddy?
We going to work on a couple things. We have a couple different ideas that we want to run with, but we want to kind of keep it out of the mainstream because we haven't done any really mainstream movies and we don't want to go that way.
Right.
So we've gotten a few suggestions.
Well, that wouldn't be junkyard. That would be,
right. That would
be the horror swap meet. We're at the junkyard, baby.
Despite trying to tell, our fans that that's not what we're doing, they still send the same emails asking to watch the same movies. So we are working on something. Hopefully, we are going to get to some Canadian movies.
Oh boy!
Big fan. So,
they have
we're doing
movies
that.
in Canada.
And, they've had some amazing low budget garbage dribbling out of Canada. It's pretty good. So we're looking forward to that. And we'll probably be recording next. Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. Come on, it was a joke.
Wow.
Stampede Films. Never heard of him?
No.
Space Force.
He's not on social media, but you can get him at prowrestling.com/SEG shirts.
Yeah, I put that out because we just put out the new Horror Junkyard done by Eric Kent.
Baby.
I'm see how terrible at that. So Eric Kent did us a major solid. Got everybody in on it. You guys are up on the posters on the wall. It's a Creep Show cover from the original comic. Little Chuck's on the bed. I'm creeping outside doing something weird. I don't know why I'm doing outside of Chuck's window. You guys are up on the wall as little posters, which is pretty good. I pop big for it. Go to check that out. And as soon as we have something else for you guys, we'll start promoting it as it's coming out.
You're out barefoot in the snow with Shemp. That's all you're doing. Nothing creepy.
There's no fucking snow.
I know, man. No
it's
snow
ridiculous.
in January.
60 fucking degrees.
I love
bullshit.
it, man. I absolutely loving it right now. No snow blower.
Needs to be colder at least. At least make it colder.
No snow blower, no flamethrower, Stevie. But we'll be back in the morning to melt all their minds with the red hot headlines of wrestling. So
and we have a ghost in here, by the way. We have a couple ghost cats that walk around that I just saw earlier, and then Sal pointed out that we have no draft. There's no the vent's way over there, but yet he saw and he showed the video of the thing for the blinds moving like that, and it stopped.
I sent it to your wife too, and I was like,
I sent it to her. She's going throughout the whole apartment with sage right now.
Yeah, she's saging up the joint.
She's smudging.
She doesn't take any chances, man. It's StevieRichardsFitness.com. I know that I do gym videos that I sent Sal a screenshot of a comment of somebody telling me, you was nothing in WWE.
You was nothing. Do you ever shut up? I'm going to call the cops. What?
You wasn't nothing.
That doesn't make any sense.
Stupid idiot. I get at least 1 out of 100 comments.
I would just go back like, what?
I go back to Sal's promo.
You're right. I wasn't anything. Put it over cell phone. Be like, you're right. I'm sorry.
I get so mad because he sends me them, and I want to go after them, and then he won't let me. He never lets me.
Hey guys, I got to bounce. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good, man. Go hang.
All right.
Good to see you, brother.
Out, kid.
So, StevieRichardsFitness.com. Choose your program. Choose your video. Also, we have some affiliate codes and the links to those video descriptions on YouTube that you can comment on, and then Sal can take a look at it and get mad at your comment. But ForceUSA.com and DiamondbackFitness.com, same code, Stevie5. Save on stuff there for strength and cardio equipment. And also, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. What else was it? Oh, by the way, Impact got banned on Twitch.
Really?
Yeah, for the Rob that 3-way segment with the girls.
Oh, I
Banned from Twitch.
Oh, really? Oh,
Really?
theirs got banned. I thought you meant like us talking about it got banned from
No,
Twitch.
Impact got banned from Twitch.
Oh man.
Just that show, or they're banned forever?
I think they're banned right now.
Oh, wow.
They're actually banned.
Wow.
Shit.
Best segment on the show.
We'll cover it tomorrow, I'm sure.
Wow. Unbelievable. We will cover it tomorrow. Here we'll be back between 8:30 in the morning, bright and early East Coast time, because Stevie cannot get enough wrestling headlines. He just keeps hitting me up. He's like, what is the Stooge Report? I said, Stevie, we'll wait until the Friday veteran locker room. You can't wait to see what's going to happen.
I love seeing what happens in the world of wrestling. It's just so fulfilling.
And you can see that and more as we are here on your AEW pre-show, the Conspiracy Horsemen. We'll have Light the Fuse later in the afternoon tomorrow as well, or maybe later in the morning. If I can, my voice holds up with MSG and Chris Silvio as they're watching the show right now. I'll be at Border Town Wrestling the 25th, beating the shit out of Joe Pimentel and the Mental Club in a submission match. So right after I get back from Baha Hamas, these guys will be doing it hopefully 3 strong next week without me. But I'll be back after a big 100-day run putting Hameen Media Group together. I can't thank all my producers, my co-hosts, our guests enough for towing the line while I take a little break here before I go completely insane from zero sleep and wrestling constantly in my eyeballs. So you guys know where it is. A lot of great sales today at ProWrestlingTees.com/Bin Hameen. For some reason, the tweet apologize, dive, repeat shirt was doing well. So thanks a lot, Game. Appreciate you, buddy. Hopefully I can buy a beer soon at Buffalo Wild Wings when we go hang out with the fans after the NXT show. But right now it's here, hackerhameen.podbean.com, Hacker Hameen on your iTunes FM dial, infidels, russosbrand.com if you want more content, or even hop over to his Patreon for the Master Shoot Theater. It was a good time tonight with my brothers doing my confessional, talking Space Force, getting hot and shooting on the marks here at our Conspiracy Horsemen. YOLO!